All right. What's going on, everyone? How we doing? I see all the hello from this place. I love that. And I saw the best one, the best one that I have seen so far. And maybe we have to just start it out with a giveaway for this individual. And it was, let me make sure I can find it again. Hello from the North Pole. This is hello from the North Pole, Chris Kringle here. That is the best one I've seen so far. So hats off to you, Chris Kringle, for the best one I've seen. What's up, guys? Giants almost won today. Yeah, almost. That is the saying of the season. Almost. We almost did it. What's up, everyone? How we doing? How we doing? Welcome. Happy Sunday. We're here working. Thanks for the opportunity you got at RSW. Is that RSW like RSW in Fort Myers? RSW Airport? That's the airport closest to me. How's it going, everyone? Hello from the South Pole. Well, we got South Pole, we got North Pole. What's up, Margin? I see the familiar YouTube live stream watchers, all the green and blue names. Love that. Hello, guys. Sonia. Familiar name there. Weekend flying by? Yeah. It has been. What's going on, chat? How we doing? So we're going to hang out for a little bit before we start. Let people jump in. You guys know how it is. People are not on time. I'm always on time. You guys are on time. But not everyone's on time. So we'll wait. I look younger and more handsome on Sundays. I appreciate that, Jenny. Thank you. I got all pretty for the stream today. Typically, I do not. What's up, everyone? Save your questions for later about trading. Definitely save those. Definitely save those questions for later. We're going to have a Q&A later. We got a schedule for you today. We'll get that going. Is this being recorded? That's a big question I have been getting, and I will answer that early on. It's on YouTube, so naturally it will be recorded. Yes, there will be a link that you can look back at, but I am pretty sure that I'm just going to send those out to the people that register. Probably. But you will definitely, there's no way the volume's low. We're not dealing with that today. There's no way. I see it. It's hitting the red on OBS. You have a volume mixer that shows me if it's low or high. Every time I talk, it's hitting the red. So there is no way that we're at low volume. So raise it up. Raise it up. Turn that volume up on the computer. It is not me. We're not starting with that today. Welcome back, everyone. Yes, so it will be recorded, likely to just the people that registered. We will definitely have a link for you. For sure. Sound is all right. Sound check. Check. All right. Yeah, we're probably gonna move between a few mics today because I'm gonna be walking over here, going on the whiteboard. I'm gonna be walking back here, so we're gonna use this mic for now, and then we'll jump on the Shure later. Got me on the big screen. That's where I belong. Look at that. Look at the back of that thing. We're giving these away. Great setup, great lighting, great sound. Appreciate that, Dope. Thank you, brother. Yeah, well, we're going to upgrade soon, man. This whiteboard is going to be upgraded soon to a actual monitor that I could, we could put the charts up here. Imagine that. We bring this in. We got Tesla chart right here. We're looking at the break and retest. We're using the pen, drawing things out. That's coming soon. That's not cheap, I'll tell you that, but it's worth it. Whoops. Chef Joe, you got ribeyes for everyone? Love it. Those look good. Noodles, you got a quarter zip? Love it. Don't be nervous. I'm not nervous, Casey. You do this every day, man. We're live on YouTube every day, every single day. This is my spot. This is my zone right here. It's what I do. Mr. Reclaim Ripper. That's right. Mr. Reclaim Ripper. The vlog was awesome. The vlog did not do very well, so I took it off of YouTube, just so you know. People don't like the vlogs, but I'm going to try. I'm going to keep trying. I could have done better. I could have made it a better vlog. Only the loyal people out there like the vlogs, but you're going to keep me updated on the Broncos KC score? All right, appreciate that. That's actually very kind of you. See, now we're talking about people that know. You're gonna keep me updated on all the scores we're missing today. Broncos, all right, 6-3. Thank you for that. All right, so today is actually a private link, just so you know. Everyone that's in here actually registered. This is a private live stream, unlisted from live YouTube. So this is not like you registered and we just sent it out. There's a reason to register, and so these are the people that are committed, and that's what I wanted to have here today, the commitment from you guys, the people that took the time to register, took the time to put the time in to say, hey, I am interested, and that's important. Tomorrow and Tuesday, we will do our normal live stream on YouTube, as we always do, so that will just be on YouTube. But for you that registered, that took the time, I wanted to at least give you a private session today with less people, and try to get to more questions and more, just be able to answer more that you guys have. So in Europe, it's midnight. That's awesome. Way to be here, man. Giants fan. Giants, man. All right, so we waited 6 minutes. I think that's probably long enough. I look extra handsome today. I've gotten that a few times. Thank you. I appreciate that. That increases my ego. Rusty with the 19 months. Best thing I've ever done. Appreciate that, Rusty. Thanks for supporting the live streams, man. I very much appreciate that. I very much appreciate that. Watching from Pakistan. Love it. You want to join the Discord community? Well, I have a little sneak peek for you. I would wait. That's going to be my honest answer to you. I would wait until Tuesday. Because Tuesday, going to have some, opportunities for you to save some money on that. Some Black Friday action. So I would wait for Tuesday. Now, the problem with waiting for Tuesday is that we just, full transparency, I do not trade with the Discord on Wednesdays, okay? Full transparency, I do not trade with the Discord on Wednesdays. Wednesdays, I trade with the mentorship group. So, maybe you wait for Wednesday. Unless you just want to join it first day, get used to everything, and then come in on Thursday. But full transparency, I do not trade with the Discord group on Wednesdays. So, just so you know, 1 day a week, I trade with the mentorship group. All right, Brian, those are some good names you put up there, Brian. Those are some good names. Those are some big boys. Those are the good names right there. Where's Desi? David knows me too well. All right, we're gonna jump into it. So, first off, welcome everyone. Today, let's have some fun. I'm gonna have fun. We're gonna learn. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna have a good energy. And I got a presentation for you. I got, charting for you, preparation for you, right? We're going to prepare for tomorrow. We're going to use today to prepare for tomorrow, where we're going to execute everything live. And so with that said, let's jump into it, guys. Press the like button, I guess, even though it doesn't matter. We're not live, so I would still appreciate a like. Press the like button. Let me know you're enjoying the live stream. Here we go. So today, with the small amount of time together, which, you know, for me it seems small, but it actually, we have a decent amount of time. We got 3 hours today, 6, 7, 8, 5 to 8. We have some time, so we should be able to get through some stuff. Today, with the small amount of time we have, I'm going to be talking about unveiling 6 steps. So I've created a presentation for you guys. I have 6 steps that we're going to review today. Sort of 6 things that I want to really dive into and provide education to you guys about. And hopefully, by the end of those 6 steps, they can turn you profitable. They can help you along your road of profitability. They can at least give you some type of a roadmap towards, Mike's good still? Yeah, we're still good. Roadmap towards getting to that profitability, right? Because a lot of traders and some of the people out there that are watching today, they're sort of lost, right? We're lost. We don't know what should we be focusing on. What is causing me to lose? Or maybe I know what I'm losing, but I can't seem to fix it. What is it that I need to work on? Where do I need to start focusing? And hopefully today, the blueprint is what it's called that I provide you will help, right? That's really it. That's my goal today. We're going to unlock the best version of yourself. I've had, the best versions of myself. I've had the worst versions of myself. I've been to both sides of that, experience in life. Truly, you guys have seen some of the ups, some of the downs, and a lot of the downs were before you even know who I was, really, to be honest, right? Like, before I even started this journey, that's where most of the down was. And to be able to grind out of that, it took a lot. It took a lot of self-preservation, belief, trusting myself, believing that this is something I wanted to do. So very, very important to believe in yourself. And hopefully today I can unlock at least a part of that for you as well. There's one thing I need from you. One thing. And I need you to be committed. That is so important in what I do, right? And it's very important to me as an individual who takes time to do something like this, to even for the people that, let's say, join me in the community. Commitment is huge because I could teach you this today, right? I could spend 3 hours with you today. You could, screw off tomorrow, forget everything we talked about, and that's it, right? It's over. You didn't get anything out of it. And so the commitment is huge. The saying to yourself, okay, I'm going to actually consciously change something. I'm going to apply what we've talked about. I'm going to try my best to improve. That commitment is everything in anything in life, right? So before we move forward, let's get a bunch of yeses in the chat. Let's have some fun. Type yes in the chat if you're ready, okay? Let's blow up the chat. Let's break YouTube. Let's, get everyone to start saying, where'd Desi go? The chat's down. YouTube broke down. Break it. Type yes in the chat if you are ready to get started. Looks like I got to stand more like over here. Yes, I like that energy, Kristen. Bunch of yeses. All right. Sweet. There they come. So, by the end of these 3 days, confidence in your trading. That is so important. Confidence. Because, right, and you guys know me to be someone that will never BS you, okay? I will not. And it's even something that I've noticed about my trading at times. If I lose confidence, I lose the ability to execute to the best of my ability, right? I know that. That's something that is number one. It's pretty much the top and most important thing is the confidence in yourself and the confidence in your trading. You need to walk in to this computer every day. I need to walk out of my bed, walk around my living room, into this desk, sit down on this desk, and I need to be ready and confident. If I don't have that in me, I'm already one step behind. So confidence in your trading, confidence in what you want to do, and confidence in what you're looking for is everything. And so today, that's a lot of what we're going to be talking about, right? What am I looking for when I step into the trading day? That's really what this entire day, this entire session today is. Day one is setting up, right? Getting setups ready, getting your levels ready, getting prepared for the trading day, and getting confident in what you're going to be looking for, right? That really is everything. We'll dive into the strategy as well, right? So you have your confidence, and then you apply that strategy on top of it. What is the strategy that I'm looking to trade? What am I looking to apply? What am I looking to look for, right? What is the thing I'm looking for on the intraday? What is that entry strategy that I'm going to put on top of my confidence and my foundation that we hopefully have or we're trying to learn? And then the exact steps to stay consistent, right? So when I talk about consistent, what am I talking about? There's more to consistency than just a strategy. There's your emotion, your mindset. You know, are you journaling? Are you understanding where you're failing? How do I stay consistent? The consistency is very important because one day, right, you could have an awesome day. Hey, I was confident today. I traded the break and retest. I took my profits. Okay, maybe it was a losing trade. I took my loss, right? I stuck to my stop loss. Great day. I stayed very, what's the word? I stayed very disciplined. I did what I know was right. And whether it was a win or a loss, I felt good about that because, hey, it was a good win or it was a comfortable loss. I was disciplined today. Now, are you going to do that the next day, right? And the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And that's really what's hard for some people with trading is it's very repetition. It's all repetition. You have to do the same thing every day, right? So that's tough. Now, the difference in what I want to provide you, right, and the difference that I believe that I bring to you, right, the reason why I think people do watch me and want to learn from me or what I provide is that I'm going to do it live like I do every other day, right? We're going to learn everything today, and we're going to do it live tomorrow and Tuesday with you guys. Everything that you learn today is exactly what I look for tomorrow. There's no, I don't make anything up today to try to look pretty. I didn't add bookmap to this presentation today to try to sell you that I know what, I use bookmap in my trading. I didn't add some fancy indicator that, I'm going to not use tomorrow because I'm just trying to make it seem like I'm teaching you something that's super complex and hard to learn. That's not who I am, right? So everything we talk about today, whether you think it's enough or not, is all I look for. That's it, right? There's nothing else, and it's worked for me, okay? So, hey, the beautiful thing about trading is it may work for me and it may work for 1,000 other people, right? That have maybe similar, personality traits, that have similar ways of looking at the markets, but maybe it doesn't work for the next 50. And that's pretty normal, right? You look at, and I'll always refer, because you guys know who he is, Carmine, right? Good buddy of mine, good close friend of mine, built a really great relationship with him as someone I can talk to about trading, bullshit off, different things that are going off. Just a great person that I've gone to sort of have that connection and have that relationship with when it comes to trading, because none of my other friends have any interest in it. Me and him are very different, right? We have very similar results at the end of the day, but very, very different in what we do, right? So, hey, maybe you're looking today, you come here today and you want to learn what I do. That's why you're here. And that's what I'm going to try my best to teach you. That doesn't mean it's the only way. That's the great thing about trading. There's different ways to go about this, different things to look for, right? So, with that said, let me take a little sip of water, and then we're going to jump into the presentation that I have for you and really dive into it. Really dive into it today. What time is it? It's 5:15. So we're actually right on track. Let me go back to here. Let me go to our schedule. So there's our schedule today. We're going to start our presentation around 5:15. So we're right on schedule. Been been in a trading pod, very valuable thing to be in. Yeah, it absolutely is. Having people around you that you can, talk to, and you can, just sort of, whether it's a bad day and you can be like, man, that really sucked, and just sort of, that's important. I really do. So if you guys, that is partially why it's a great thing to be in a community, whether it's mine, whether it's someone else's, it doesn't matter. But if you can get to know some other people that online or in person that you can talk to about trading, because it's a very lonely thing to do. It absolutely is. Very lonely, very, it's only you. So good to meet someone, good to get out there. And that's actually why, sort of jumping ahead here a little bit, but 2026, my goal of 2026, really, like seriously, not BS here, is to shake more hands, right? That's really what I want to be doing this coming year. That's a goal of mine. Shake more hands, get to know more people. All you guys that are out here, 1,600 of you that are here today, it would be great to meet some of you. I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's what it's all about to me. I think that would be so rewarding to me, at least for someone that's been doing this on, YouTube live stream for every day for 4 or 5 years now, to meet some of you guys that are behind the screen and just watching me every day, that probably see me more than you see your significant other. Right? There's probably some of you that watch me more than, see me in the morning more than you're even talking to your wife or your husband or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, whoever it might be. Right? Like, that's crazy to think about. So I'd love to meet some of you. Margin, for example. Margin Call. This guy on the live streams, first in the live streams every single day for the last how many years? Right? That is, I want to meet some of you guys. So that's my goal for 26. Trying to do it smart, right? You still gotta be a little bit, I don't know if some weird people out there. There's some weird people out there. There's some dangerous people out there. So, gotta be a little careful. But trying my best to work it out. All right. When you meet me, you're going to be like, holy shit, that guy's short. Hamish, where's Hamish? Damn, that guy's short. That's going to be your first impression when you meet me. All right, so we've had our fun. We have had our fun. And I think it is time for us to get started. And I think, for that, I'd like to sit down for now. So let's go ahead and go on down. Let me roll on over here. I have lowered the air in my house to 65 degrees because I know it's going to get hot as hell in here. So I have done that, so we're all prepared. It's nice and cold in the house. And let me get the presentation up for you guys today. Do I teach in person? That is something I would, that's something that I hope you see from me in the future. That's my goal. That is one of my big goals. Short King, that's right. Please start the presentation already. Here we go. I knew that was coming soon. I knew it. All right. So let me get this all. Let me make sure this looks right for you guys. That does not currently look right for you. So let me make sure this is all. This looks good for you. 1 second. Bear with me. Just start the damn presentation already, would you? Just shut up and start the presentation. Yeah, I feel you. I'm starting. Don't worry. All right. So I have a blueprint for you. We're going to go through this squiggly line here today. And I got a blueprint for you. And I hope that as we go through this blueprint, we are going to learn things along the way. Okay? So let's jump into it. I think think I'm going to move my face down here. I don't think we'll have too much problems with my face down on the bottom right. If we do, I'll just sort of move it around, but for now, we'll keep it there. W-Yap. All right. So, building your foundation. There are so many people out there. We're starting, so get ready. Here we go. We're locked in now. There are so many traders out there that start because of the low barrier to entry, right? I'm going to download a Robinhood. I'm going to download Webull. I'm going to download Thinkorswim. I'm going to throw $1,000 in here and I'm going to start making real money. False. Okay? False. No foundation. A house of cards, right? You guys know what a house of cards is. I'm going to throw 5,000 in. I'm going to download Robinhood. I'm taking options trades and bam, there goes my money. Why? There's no learning there. There's no education. You can't expect to be a successful trader if that is what you are doing, okay? There has to be a period in your trading journey that is focused on education and building a foundation. That's it, right? It's that simple. That is a must. If you have passed that, okay? If you are someone that has skipped that step, then you need to consider reverting back to that area of your trading, okay? And I don't care how much ego that hurts. I don't care how egotistical or how much, you get hit in the you-know-what for doing that. I don't care, right? If you've been trading for 3 years, you're consistently losing and you feel like you're now, maybe some kind of a veteran trader that can't go back to day one. I can't go back there, right? Was there ever a day one, though? Was there ever a situation where you said, hey, I'm just going to learn for now. I'm actually just going to actually learn rather than just continue to wake up, throw money in the market and lose, right? Was there a period where you said, build my foundation, okay? So that is where we need to start because this is 100% the reason for my success. And I will talk about that journey for me in the past. And I can think back to those days right now. It feels like yesterday. I'm old now for me in my mind. I'm 30 years old, right? Not young. I'm not a 22-year-old anymore. I'm not 40, but I'm like right in that middle area. But I remember my 18, my 19s, my 20s, my 21, 22, 23, 24, right? Those years of my life where I was just every day grinding YouTube, watching videos, trying to learn, not losing a lot of money, right? Not losing a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of money. So I was working. I had a good job. I was a smart kid, right? To be honest, I was a smart kid. I did very well in school. I graduated UCF, magna cum laude. I graduated my high school, like top 100 of the class. I was a pretty smart kid. That does not translate into trading, but I think it maybe translates into how I approached this game, right? I understood, hey, I'm not going to just walk into this, download some trading app and start winning against people on Wall Street that have been, there for years, people that know it. I'm in an arena that I had no business being in, right? So during those years of college, during those years of working, even my job, I was focused on learning, educating myself, not losing so much to the point where I'd give up, right? Wasn't throwing in hundreds of thousands of dollars just to, get discouraged and give up. That was my focus, and that's where we start today. The second thing, right, after building that foundation, there's 3 pillars of a foundation that we're going to talk to today. Mastering technicals. That is, without a doubt, the next step that must be done. And this is probably the easiest step of our journey today. Mastering technicals, understanding technical analysis, it's not hard. You guys can do it. That's not the hard part of trading. And I have no problem saying that because truly it is not. All 1,700 of you here can understand technical analysis. At some point, you will get a good sense for technicals. That will be the first part that you're like, hey, I got this good, right? Now, that does not equal profitability, but it is an important step that we will obviously go over today. And that's, as you know, a big part of our live streams on a daily basis. The levels on the NASDAQ, S&P, the SPY, the Qs, What are my levels on NVIDIA, Tesla, watching these certain spots, right? The technicals are key. Now, if you know your technicals, number 3, controlling your mindset. That is why 99% of people fail. That right there, bam. That's where it ends. You build your foundation, you know your technicals, you can't get past your own self. You can't get over the mindset. You can't control your mind. You can't control yourself when we enter the markets, right? 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock Eastern, pre-market, you're going to say to yourself, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do that today. If I'm wrong, I'm stopping out. Bell rings, ding, 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 9:30, it's all out the window, gone, right? Trade go against you, no stop loss, down 60%, bam, here we are again. Then you look at yourself in the mirror, you say, how did this happen again, right? I just told myself the other day I'm not going to do that again, but here we are, right? Trust me. How do I know this? How am I connecting to you on that, right? There's a lot of you in the chat right now that said, holy shit, yep, I know exactly that. How do I know that? Because I've done it, okay? I've done it. I've done it plenty of times, all through the early years. I'm no different than anyone that's failing. I have gone through all of those situations, every single one. Anything you can think of, whatever your worst day is, think about your worst day. I've done it, right? There's no doubt about it. And every other single person in this chat has done it too. And if you haven't done it yet, then it's coming. Trust me, okay? If you have not done that, it is still coming, right? So you are very early in your trading career at that point, right? That means it hasn't hit yet, and it will happen. So those are the days that make the difference. You need to understand that. Those days that you look back at and say, wow, did I F that up? Those days are the days that do make the difference, right? Because if you, just think about this, if you eliminated those days, maybe you still have a few here and there, right? But if you eliminated those days, majority of those days out of your trading, I guarantee you your yearly P&Ls would look incredibly better, right? Just removing those 10, 20, 30 really hard to look at days. Removing those out of your trading makes a massive difference. So controlling our mindset, actually changing that, and not having those days often, maybe once or twice, here and there, you still have, we're human, right? At the end of the day, we're human. There's going to be times we messed up. You can't be perfect, and don't expect yourself to be, right? I do not expect myself to ever be perfect in this trading game, because if you expect perfection, you're going to really be discouraged, right? You can't be. You have to look at some days and say, hey, man, tough day, right? You're just not happy with how I performed, tough day. But those are those days where it has to be a quick turnaround, right? Short-term memory, that was a bad day. I'm not going to do it again tomorrow. And I know how to work out of that. I know how to work out of that. I know how to get outside of, or how to improve from that day, right? So let's continue. You guys know where my mindset is there. I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse there. After that, applying a strategy. So we understand our technicals. We understand our mindset. We know what we have to do to control our mindset. Let's apply a strategy. It's only then that we can apply a strategy, right? It is only then that learning the break and retest is actually valuable to you. It doesn't. I can teach you the break and retest until your head falls off, right? You can break and retest, break and retest, break and retest. This is what I need to look for. It means nothing if you don't have an educational foundation, if you don't know your technicals, if you can't control yourself, then what does the strategy do for you? It's nothing. It's pointless, right? So build the foundation, master your technicals, control the mindset, then apply the strategy on top of it, right? That's where we start actually building a system, right? That we can continue to rotate and rotate and rotate. I know my foundation. I know my technicals every day. I know how to control myself. Now I'm trading my strategy and I'm repeating it every day, right? This is a guy overcame it. Listen to him. Appreciate that, Black. I mean, it's all coming from, trust me, man. There is nothing. I have no script today. I'll show you my screen. I do not have a script in front of me anywhere. All I have is this presentation. Everything you've heard from me so far, there is no script. This is all coming from my head, right? Things that I have done. That is what I teach, right? The experience, the things I've done before. It's all in the head, right? And so that shows you that I have done these things. I've been around the block, and I hope that I can at least give you some talk about my experiences, and hopefully it helps you in your journey. That's it, right? Maybe it doesn't turn you profitable tomorrow. It's not going to turn you profitable tomorrow. You think that our talk today is going to turn you profitable tomorrow? It's not. But it's going to give you, you're going to remember this day. You're going to remember this day. You're going to remember me talking about things, and hopefully that is helpful, right? Review your performance. We all know that, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then staying disciplined, staying on track toward your goals, right? Next, the proper way. The proper way. The way that I did it, which I believe was the proper way. I believe that my journey was the proper journey. It was slow, slower than most. I've been doing this for 12 years. I was profitable after 5, almost 6, right? And some of you would say, damn, 6 years, right? I think I did it the right way. I actually think the longer it takes you to learn, the more experience and the thicker the experience you have. I mean, I'm just sitting on a mountain of experience that helps me when I get into the markets, right? That experience, oh, who's texting me? How could I have an alert on when I'm having a presentation? Wow. I think the longer it takes you, it could be actually better. Now, to some of you, you're not going to like that, right? You're not going to like that. I need this now. I need my money and I need it now, right? I need my money and I need it now. What is that? JD Wentworth? Is that it? 877 cash now, right? That commercial. Of course, you want to be making money tomorrow, but the 6 years that took me to get to some type of a profitability, such a wealth of experience that helps me every day I look at a chart, right? Very, very important. And yeah, man, I mean, what MES just said there in the chat, you can go back to my YouTube channel from day one, right? Day one YouTube channel, you can see what it used to be. It's all documented on YouTube. You can go back, go to my YouTube channel, go to filter and go to oldest videos right there in front of you. You can go see what I used to look like back then, all right? And you can see it all. So you guys know this. I've shown you this video before. I'm going to show you again. Here's my proof to you. I'm not going to go to, you guys know who I am. Here's the biggest month, really the biggest point of my trading career. This is the monumental day for me. It was April 11th that I crossed this threshold for myself. April 11th, $1.1 million in profit right here on the E-Trade account. This was the pinnacle day. This was a massive, incredible, and I'll never forget it day for me in trading. And, you know, I'm not special. I am not special. I am no different than anyone out there, man. I just put in a lot of work, and you guys know that. A lot of work. A lot. You know, I used to have hair. Appreciate that, John. Thank you, brother. The thing I like about you guys, and I hope you like about me, is I'll take it and I'll give it, right? You give me something like that, I'll throw it right back at you. And that's what I love about our community. I'm not special. I didn't grow up with, a father in Wall Street. I didn't grow up with a mentor, in my young years. I didn't grow up with any of that. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what had my mindset on. I am someone that is very fixated once they want to do something. And that was it, right? I was fixated on this. This is all I wanted to do. I ever wanted to do. This is what I always knew that was in for me. I had people along the way telling me it wasn't possible. I had friends that laughed at me when I talked about wanting to trade. And now, this is a funny story. But it's a good story, and maybe this is inspirational to you guys. I have people, my friends from high school, that I see back at weddings, and they say, you know what, man, you were right. It's no bullshit. They come up to me, they say, holy shit, man. Like, I see what you're doing. And I remember, like, you in high school, just like us making fun of you and, just not believing. And I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. I appreciate that. And if you got people in your life that are sort of the same way, nothing can stop you if you want to do it, right? Very, very important. But like what I said earlier, due to the low barrier to entry in trading, it's been flooded with new trading, right? New traders risking hard-earned money without any type of foundation. It's very easy to start trading. So I've never talked about this. I've never really talked about this. I've never really made like a this is who I am video. But I figured I'd share it with you a little bit. I started trading when I was 18. And this is no BS. I started looking into trading the day after my 18th birthday, which was the same week, I believe, that Wolf of Wall Street came out. No BS. All right. When did the Wolf of Wall Street come out? Pretty sure it was December. When did Wolf of Wall Street come out? December 25th, 2013. My birthday is December 22nd, obviously, of the year 2013. I was 18 that year. And after my birthday and after seeing that movie on Christmas of 2013, I was like, something about this is interesting. Now, obviously, I didn't want to become Jordan Belfort. That wasn't my goal. I don't shill penny stocks. I don't even trade penny stocks. I hate looking at penny stocks. I despise penny stocks. You guys ask me for penny stocks on the live stream, I tell you I'm not looking at it, right? But I did start there, right? I did. I started with Tim Sykes. I started with penny stocks. I started trying to trade them. My first trade ever was a weed penny stock. I think I made $800 and I was hooked. That was it. There was no going back from that day forward. Weed penny stock. Forgot what it was called. I don't remember what it's called, but it was $800 win. I woke up the next day. I was like, oh my God. I was in college and that was it. I was hooked. Hold on. From that point forward, it was all just YouTube, various online resources. That was it. Just every day, locked in, trying to see what I could do. I don't know if my buddy Brian is here today. He's probably not. But I have a buddy, Brian, who I remember. I'll tell you a little story. We were in the living room in our dorm. I had my laptop HDMI'd into the screen, into the 75-inch LCD TV. And I had my trader, I had my platform open. We were watching penny stocks. I entered a trade. Within 30 seconds, the stock tanks like 40%. And we're just sitting there like, oh my God. Right? I'll never forget. And that's where my journey started, right? Just like many of yours, that's where it all started. No success for 5 years. No success. I was not losing a lot. And that is like a key point that I do want to talk about today, and something that I want you to take away from today's presentation. Please don't trade large sums of money if you don't know what you're doing, okay? Don't do it. The longer you stay in this game, the more you can learn, experience, and have a higher likelihood of succeeding, right? When I was starting over those 5 years, I was not losing large, absurd sums of money. I was losing maybe $5,000 a year, right? I'd throw $5,000 of my money as a college kid into my trading account, and I would make or lose $20, $30 a day, right? And I would just sort of have this boring, mundane, nothing, right, in my trading. It wasn't like I was blowing up anything. It wasn't like I was getting rich, but I was gaining that experience, right? That was my period of learning. And some of you feel like you don't need to do that. Trust me, I know there's people out there today, okay, that are very successful individuals, right? There's people in this chat that make a ton of money, that do very well for themselves outside of trading, that have great jobs, that have great careers, that have come across sums of wealth. I'm sure there are. And for me to tell you that you should be trading with $100, right? Your max risk on a day should maybe be a couple $100, right? You're like, Desi, get the hell out of here, man. I don't care about that. That's exactly why you're going to lose, right? That's exactly right there why you are going to lose. You have to start there. You have to be able to start to feel what it's like to lose or to trade at these small sizes and gain experience. And you have to stay with it, because a lot of you out there, maybe some of you that are successful, maybe have a few $100,000 sitting around. You're like, hey, I'm going to throw 100K in this account, or I'm going to throw 50K, I'm going to throw 20K in this account, and bam, it's gone. And it's no different, right? Let's say this guy over here has 10K, he blows it up in a year. And then you have this guy over here who blew up $100,000 in a year. You guys are no different. But one of you is down $90,000 more, right? So you have to realize that the money you have, however successful you are, it makes no difference, man. It makes no difference. You have to go through these years of learning and education. It is so crucial. 2020, sorry. That was my breakthrough year. That's when I started to really fire on all cylinders. That is 7 years about. It was really like 6. That I was just not doing much. 5th year, 6th year was like, all right, we're getting somewhere. 2022, bam, huge year for me. Huge year. And that's where the YouTube journey began. COVID. 2020 made $38,000. I still know the exact amount. I'm pretty sure I have a YouTube video of $38,000. I almost guarantee, I think that's the number. $38,000. That was like my big, it was just like, that was it. I was like, oh, wow, that was huge. And that was shorting the COVID downside. And, I think a lot of people out there could say, everyone did pretty good during that time. And, I understand that. I get that. I'm not naive to that fact. But who kept that money, right? Who kept it? I did. A lot of people didn't. And why did I keep that money after that COVID period? Because I'd been doing it for 6-7 years before that, right? I was already a trader for a very long time, understanding how to manage myself, learning that period of my trading. And so that was like that moment that presented a very big opportunity, right? And I took advantage of it because of my years of experience, and I kept it. And that's where it all started to build. From that point, just every year, a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. Last year, definitely my best year. And this year, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not as good as last year. It's not. Last year was massive for me. Last year was huge. We crossed the $1 million mark last year in lifetime P&L. We were up around $600,000 last year. Not going to replicate that this year. But that means nothing to me. I'm a better trader this year. I am. And P&L is not, and this is something that is another great point. P&L is not the ultimate decider for me of how much I know and how confident I am when I step into the markets. It's not. It's really not, truly. P&L is great, okay? We all love P&L. I love P&L just like you guys, right? Money is, it's it, right? We all love it. But do I feel more confident this year than I did last year? Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. I feel much more confident every year I go on, right? And I'll keep on building upon that. Last year just had a really nice opportunity. Really like sort of starting of this year, but most of last year, just great opportunities. So let's continue. Building your foundation. I already talked about this. I would attribute massive parts of my success to that foundation. Mastering technicals, mastering mindset, and realistic expectations. We've already talked about technicals, which we're going to dive into live together today. You guys know me for technicals, and you know this is the bread and butter of what I look for on a daily basis. We will jump into technicals live together. We're going to bring up basically a blank chart and just create levels together. It'll be a full levels workshop, okay? I have a lot of you out there that always ask me, Desi, how do you create your levels? Today's the day, okay? Today is the day. And I will send this to people. I will send this to people to watch because today is the day that we go over that, okay? Why key levels? Let's just quickly talk about this. Why key levels? Why do we care about key levels on the charts? Why is that important to me? Why is that really where we should start? The mastering the technicals. We need to create a guide for our trading day. When we step into the charts, we step into the day. If we don't have key spots on the market that we have previously identified, we are going to be lost. We're going to look like a chicken with our head cut off. We need to know where the market is potentially going to get to, right? And where are those key points on the market that I'm going to be looking for reactions. We need to lower, right, the areas. We need to shrink the areas on the market that we actually care about. Where are the areas in the market that are important to me? I am not interested in every tick that goes on the market. I am only interested in what happens at these particular spots, right? And that is why we create our key levels. Because if we can avoid that noise, which is another key point there, avoiding noise, if we can stay away from all that noise, from only focusing on those certain areas, that is going to greatly increase our chance of profitability, but also greatly increase our chance of just accuracy in general, right? Whether we trade it right or not, your accuracy will increase because you are trading at points where there actually is price action. Not just random, oh, I'm going to try to randomly buy the Tesla here and take it for 1.5 if I can, maybe for this little uptrend area. I don't know, maybe it goes higher here. No. All right? No. My major spots, my key spots, these are the areas I want to take action. To you guys asking the question in the chat if this will be accessible later, if you gave us your email on the website, then you will get an email with this link to rewatch it, yes. If you ever, and also, I'm sure we'll get a lot of emails asking for it. We will probably give it to you if you reach out to us. Do I put this on YouTube live for everyone? I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. For now, my decision is for those of you that registered, that have shown commitment, we have the recording. Of course, YouTube is recording everything that we present, right? So we have it. Levels, here's a very, very key quote that I need you all to remember. And this is something that I see a lot of the Timmies and Jimmies on the live stream talk about, right? A lot of the Timmies and Jimmies, they come back to the live stream. Desi, that level, man, it didn't do anything, right? If we broke below it, your levels aren't good, right? That's not a good level. That instantly tells me that they do not understand this right here. Levels are just the location, okay? They are not what is going to happen. It's just the level and the location that we have previously seen reactions, and we can then anticipate from those past reactions that there could be future reactions. But that does not mean there will for sure be a reaction. Price action is what we watch on the intraday to know if it is actually going to do something that we are expecting, right? Yes, we might come down into a major level. But if we're slicing down lower because Trump just tweeted something, or let's just say the market is in a massive sell-off and you're just ripping through levels like it's not even there, and there's no signs of support at those levels, and you're just ripping right through them, that doesn't mean you long a demand level, right? So you get the people that I understand, right? I get it. You get the people that Desi's got this level here. I'm just going to randomly long that spot. That is furthest from the truth, right? It is not true. You need to be watching the price action at the levels, but these levels that we will talk about today, they provide the highest probability area that we would expect for something to happen, right? I'm going to write something real quick in the chat, and I'm going to pin it, so bear with me. All what do I want to say? The live trading events will be recorded and distributed to those who have registered for the event. Because I'm getting a lot of people that ask that, and I just want to have that ready. So there you go. Okay. The big four. The big four, right? The big four. What's the big four? The big four for me is the NASDAQ, the S&P, right? Because the question out there for many of you guys is, all right, Desi, key levels, sure. But what? On what? What am I looking for? What are the levels? What do I need to be charting to understand? NASDAQ, ES, QQQ, and SPY. Every day, religiously, every single day. And I'm going to talk to you about why I do chart the S&P and the SPY. Why do I chart the Qs and the NASDAQ? There is 100% discrepancies on a daily basis that come into play. 100% it happens. And so I like to be watching all four of them. I like to be watching all of them, right? Very important for me. Now, of course, there's others, but these are the big four. These are the everyday, no questions asked. I need to understand these four charts very clearly to know what is going to happen, right? These are the spots that really will decide what I will do on individual equities, that will decide the decisions that I make, that will guide the decisions that I make on the intraday. Charting these four out, and we will do these live together today, all four of these, okay? So let's do it. Let's create them live, right? F it. We'll do it live. Some of you aren't going to like that, but hey, that's who I am. So, and we'll jump into other stuff, right? We'll jump. We're just scratching the surface here today. Trust me, you got about another. I don't even know. We're gonna go well over the. I think we're gonna go over the 8 o'clock time, but that's all right. So, let's do it live, right? Let's do this together. Let me get everything set up. And here's the meat and potatoes for you today. Let me get that so you can see what. So top right of your screen. Top right of your screen, you are going to see the time frame and the ticker that we will be charting. So you can see right there, NASDAQ on the top right, NQ, 4 hour, right? Bill O'Reilly did say that. You're right, Paul. That's where it's from. Absolutely. So let me get a sip of water here. What platform am I on? We are on Think or Swim. I have yet to replace Think or Swim. I have not been able to replace Think or Swim out of my trading. I have done that. I've been on Think or Swim. I mean, I have not looked at a single thing more. If you could track the time of my eyeballs in my lifetime, this right here, whether it is on desktop or mobile, is 100% the most viewed thing in my lifetime. I'd actually like to see, obviously it's a weekend, so this might be a little bit skewed. I would love to see what my screen time is on the weekday and see. I mean, you guys, I don't need to, you guys know. Everyone that trades knows, right? Your screen time and app activity, Think or Swim, is always the highest. No doubt about it. Yeah, I can't get it because it's a weekend, but you guys know how it is. So, what are we going to do today? Okay? We are going to go from square one, weekly chart on the NASDAQ futures, and we're going to create levels together. This is what I would do myself every single day. So let's go ahead and get started. So where do we start? We start on the NASDAQ, right? NQ/NQ, that is the NASDAQ, right? Let's go ahead and look at some settings because I know a lot of you guys are going to be asking about settings, okay? I will always chart with adjust for contract change. This is always on for me. Some of you don't like it. I've always kept it. Doesn't make a huge difference, to be honest. You know, some days there is when the contract shift happens, but everything sort of normalizes after a while. That is adjust for contract change. That's always going to stay in my charts, right? That's one for the everything else. Pretty much nothing, you know, nothing out of the ordinary. I have my volume on the bottom. I don't overlap it there. Expansion area, I allow there to be more time. Nothing really important here. So, weekly chart. We start in the weekly. We look at where are my major levels. Now, the key thing to understand here, right, is it needs to be obvious, okay? We can't start searching and being like this on the computer screen, looking for levels, right? I can't be looking at the 1 minute, trying to find that spot. What is it? It's got to be obvious, right? It can't be difficult to find. If it is difficult to find, then that means it is likely not a good level, right? It should be blatantly obvious where reactions have happened before. So when you guys look at this chart, what is blatantly obvious? Someone give me, you know, it's going to be hard. If you don't have your charts up right now, I hope you do, right? I hope you guys have me on a second monitor, and I hope you have your charts up. I highly recommend you stop what you're doing, you bring up some TOS charts or some kind of charting platform and do this with me. So, you know what? I'm going to give you 30 seconds. I'm going to give you, what is it? I'm going to give you till this up here. You guys don't see it. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. It just hit 6 p.m. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to get your charts up. What level is blatantly obvious on this chart? There's a few, but I'm looking at one, and there's maybe two. I see two right answers coming through. And the one I have, okay, that's your 30 seconds. It's right here. This is the one. And also, here's one setting I would do on TOS, by the way. See this? Snap drawings to? I would always have this to OHLC. This is shout out Carmine for this one. Carmine let me know about this setting. OHLC, that's open, high, low, and close. So always put that on your charts, by the way. Here it is, right here, right? That's the one for me right there. 22,450. Why is that an important level for me? It's a pivot, okay? Why is that a pivot? That is where the market has previously moved higher into, right? Double topped, okay? And then had an aggressive sell-off off of. So the market pivoted from this point, right? We had a pivot. It was going up, and it created a pretty decent downtrending move. You had a pivot. That's a major spot. It's 22,450. Now, something that I would, be pretty honest about here is I'm not interested in charting this level, right? 16,460. It's not interesting to me. Actually, I'm going to do something for you guys real quick because I think this might actually help you see it better. I'm going to make this a little bit larger for you. So hopefully that helps you see things a little bit clearer. Let me do that. And then let me do this real quick. Bear with me. I'm going to make it so you can see things a little bit better. Because I know some of you need, a little bit zoomed in. Okay. So I'm not really interested in this level down here, right? If this market is going down 38%, then we got, we're going to have plenty of time to react to that. So I'm not charting this, right? Get that off my charts. 35% lower, we'll look at it in the future, okay? Now, if you want to chart those and you want to have those on your screen, sure, right? Sure, but that's not that interesting to me. Here's another one that I definitely want to be watching, right? This right here. This pivot high, this pivot high, this high right here. Now, here's something I want to talk about, okay? Here's something I want to talk about that has already popped up that I can see. You guys see this area right here on the weekly chart? See this right here? See how this high is different than this high? Okay? See how that high is different than this high right here? I will always, if we have this close of an area, okay, from here to here, if I have that close of an area, that to me creates my demand zone, right? So my demand zone, it's not just a key level, it is a zone, right? So where does that zone come into play? For me, it's anywhere between this high, right, and this high right here. That is the zone that I would anticipate if the market trades lower into, back into these previous highs, that I would expect that the market could have a reaction back to the upside, right, after retesting these previous double top highs. Now, the area between that double top is the area that I would say is my demand zone, right? So at that point, what am I doing? I'm going to go to this rectangle tool right here. I am going to go here, right? And little tip for you guys, this little button right here, little middle of the, I'm going to blow some of your minds right now, because every time I say this, I blow some minds. This middle cursor on your mouse, that is your quick tool button on TOS. And it shocks me that some people don't know how to do that. Look at this. Right? Some of you go down here to the bottom and press this thing on the bottom every time. And God bless your soul if you do that still. Click the middle scroll wheel. Get your tool real quick, right? Rectangle tool, I'm going between these two areas, right? Right there. That is now my new demand zone. So now, when I'm zooming, again, we're only on the weekly chart, okay? We're only on the weekly chart. So, all right, just bear with me. We got to start here. Major high, major high. If the market comes down to this level in the future, this is absolutely a major spot and a very influential spot on the market, okay? Very influential spot on the market. You can see that is your future demand zone. An area where you have previous rejections on the market. If you trade down to a level like that, that is now into a potential hold spot. Previous highs potentially turning into a new hold. Now you need to remember what we talked about earlier. Levels, right, versus price action. You cannot forget that. So if, the market's coming down to this level and it ain't looking like it's stopping. And on that day when we're watching price action at that level, if it's not looking like it's holding, if there's weakness there, then this could turn back into a rejection point, right? So it's all about creating these levels, but understanding that if this turns into a rejection point, then there is a reason now to look short, right? So you are using these levels, not that, hey, this is my demand zone and this has to hold. That's not what this means. This means that when the market trades to this level, there will be opportunity like no other, right? Whether that is a pullback long opportunity or that is a break and retest rejection. And if you don't know what that is, then we will get into that later in today's presentation. But you know that, hey, this is my area of opportunity. This is where I really want to be trading the market if we trade there. Now, this is a weekly chart, right? And we're 10% off that. So that's not realistic, right? We're not going to be trading off a weekly chart and, just saying, oh, Desi, I'm just going to wait for this to touch until I trade. Yeah, hey, if you got that patience, man, great, right? If you're going to wait till that gets hit to trade, then great. But yeah, there's more to look at than just that. So that's it, right? For me on the weekly chart, the only other spot I would put on this chart is this all-time high at 26,399, right? I would press into that. I would make it red right here, and that's my now all-time high level, which it's red because we are below it. That's it for me on the weekly chart, right there. I got nothing else for you. I'm not going to try to make up any spots in here. There's no major pivots. These are not major weekly levels in here. The weekly major level is this pivot right here. See how this turned from a rejection point into a support level, right? That is it for the weekly chart for me. We'll go into the daily and we're going to find more levels, trust me. But on the weekly chart, the only major pivot I see is this, right? Rejection, rejection into support, 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 right? And that was a influential spot. When the market on June 23rd broke above the December and March highs, February highs, that was influential on the market. That was a meaningful point, right? And again, what did we talk about? We're trading meaningful points. We're not trading every tick that is on this chart. That is really a killer for a lot of people. And you can see it's 6 o'clock and the futures have opened, and this is part of the reason that we did the live stream at this time, because I want to have some live futures action for you today. So let's dive down to the daily. Now, when we get to the daily chart, you're going to see some things that are a little bit, you're going to see some of these lines showing up, right? You're going to be looking at the daily chart. You'll see the 23,000 area. We'll chart that out in a second. And so let's talk about this, right? Right here. And actually, what happened, okay, here's something that I have seen happen. Okay, so quick, let's backtrack. I have seen this happen on TOS before, and I couldn't explain it. You have problems where the daily and weekly are discrepant, and I can't explain it, okay? I do not have that for you. So you can see here that when I go to I think that's the adjust for contract change. I do have to change this real quick. So apologies for that. You can see here on the daily chart, those were our 2 weekly highs right there. You can see on the daily chart, it's slightly different. That is because of the adjust for contract change, okay? So let's quickly adjust that. Sorry about that. I apologize. If we go to the daily chart, you can see it's this high right here, okay? And this high right here. So what we just talked about. The weekly doesn't adjust, right? So that's sort of why that is happening. Thank you for that, Sebas. But you can see that is the same areas, the same mindset, same concepts, right? Major highs, major pivot, okay? So just know that. If you're on the weekly on TOS, it does not adjust for contract change. When we go down to the daily, it slightly adjusts. So there's the level we just created, okay? When we dive down to this daily chart, we see how influential it was. And you look at this and say, wow, what an opportunity that was. Look at this. Rejection, rejection. See that? Failure, failure. Look what happened at this level all through July, August, and even into September. Right here. Held, held, and held. Turning these failure points into support, right? How great of an opportunity that was right there. That was beautiful. What a beautiful trade. What a beautiful opportunity it was. Why was it so opportunistic off these lows right here? Because this was that major previous pivot, right? A major level on the charts. And that's why such a beautiful play right there, right? How it turned from a rejection point into a support area. That's all you needed to know there, by the way, my friends. So you look at that, and this is why I'm so, you know, just, I argue with people about what do you really need to be successful trading. There is nothing else here. If someone simply said, I am going to long this area, now that we are trading back above these previous rejection points, if they just trusted that, right, they would be just as successful as someone that had a million different reasons and things on their chart, right? All that truly happened right here, back in July, August, and September of this year, all that truly happened here was that you turned double top rejections into new lows. How stupid and simple is that, right? That's it. There's no fancy thing here. There's no, oh yeah, at that point, you know, the oscillating RSI, MACD, this and that BS was happening too. No, right? Give me a break. All that happened was that these highs turned into lows. How stupid do I sound saying that? But that's at the truth of it, at the core of it, what caused the market to go higher, right? And that's all you need to understand. That's all you need to understand and look for is where are those major spots that create pivots. And as we dive down, we're going to continue to find more. And it depends on the type of opportunity and time frame you're looking at. But now let's move into something else. 20, 50, 100, and 200 SMA. I live and die by these SMAs. The 20, the 50, the 100, and the 200 SMA. Again, these are not reasons to enter a trade. These are not reasons to, hey, Desi just trades off the SMAs. He's about as beginner as it gets. No, I don't trade off the SMAs. That's not an entry strategy, right? But I can tell you that without a doubt, there are algorithmic reactions at these moving averages. There is no doubt about it. There are algorithmic reactions at these key levels, and you can simply see it on the chart. Now, when are these daily moving averages? Again, daily SMA, daily. Why are they daily SMAs? The reason these are daily SMAs is because I want these SMAs to always stay at the same level no matter where I move my chart, right? So if I go to the 30-minute chart, here's my 20, here's my 50, right? Now I want to show you something, okay? Let me show you what happens here. I'm going to do a little, I'm going to give you an example of why this occurs. Let me put on a simple moving average, okay? Why do you guys use simple moving average? Don't use this. I do not agree with you using this. 20 simple moving average. I'm going to make it red, okay? When we go to the daily chart, hold on, I put the wrong one. Let me change this. Hold on, bear with me. When we go to the daily chart, okay, so we have the daily SMA, 20, right? And we have the simple moving average, the 20 period simple moving average, right? Now, let me see. When we go to the daily chart, they are the same level, as they should, okay? See that? Same level. They're overlapping each other. Now, watch this. Watch when I go to the hourly chart. That is not an important spot on your chart. This SMA on the hourly is now a hourly SMA, right? This is a period. Simple moving average is a period. The period is the time frame, right? So look at how this changes. The market is reacting off where it is on the daily chart. It is not reacting based off where it is on the hourly chart. So you have to have the daily moving averages, okay? Very important. Daily moving averages. Those are the important ones. DMA, daily SMA. Okay, now with that said, let's go back to the daily chart. So you can see during this period on the upside move on the market, you can see how these daily moving averages started to fan out, right? See how they started to get consistent between each other? There, 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 there. See how these are sort of fanning out, right? And sort of inconsistency. That is when they are at their strongest, okay? When they are not fanning out and they're sort of all tight together, it's a little bit of a mess. And that is a period of consolidation. So these daily moving averages are only good, okay? Only strong. You have to remember this. They're only strong when there is a trend, okay? These are trend sort of, they decide your trend. These are not good in sideways consolidation, okay? Not sideways. We don't want that. And we don't trust moving averages in sideways consolidation. Why? Because it's a moving average, okay? Moving averages, it's not good just naturally in a sideways consolidation. So you can see inside of this, look at how the daily 20 and 50 were just sort of right next to each other. Didn't really mean anything, right? But take a look at this. When we established a trend on this market, look at how every time you came down to the 20 or the 50, there was a reaction on this market. Look at that yellow line right there. See that? Daily 50, bounce. 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 Daily 50, bounce, right? Every time you came down to that spot. Every single time. Even here, today. Where are you going to trade at tomorrow? Daily 50. Huge spot, right? If we break the daily 50, that would be the first time we have broken and traded below the daily 50 since April of this year, right? We had not opened a day underneath that daily 50 moving average. So that's important, right? That's something you can start to decide, right? Even here, we're starting to see the daily 20 sort of change direction. See how we're starting to see a little bit of a slowdown on this moving average? And you can see that there's questions about whether this market has sort of changed its direction up here, right? So we always want to be watching this as a guide. This is not, hey, I'm going to long the market because we're at the daily 50. And I want to show you something, All right, I want to show you something. There are 100% reactions, and you can see it just on Friday of last week. Why did the market bounce here? Why did the market bounce here? Why did it bounce here? And why did it bounce here? Who can answer me that, right? Look at these intraday reactions. 1 minute chart. 1 minute chart. The most minute candle you can watch is reacting to this spot for what reason? Right? Why? Because it is a daily moving average and there is algorithmic trades set up at those levels. So why would I not be watching that, right? Why did the NASDAQ futures hold up above this level all day to close Friday? Here, here, and here. All Friday, right? Look at the S&P 500. Friday, Friday, and Friday. So I'm absolutely watching those spots on the intraday. SPY, not too clean there. A little bit cleaner on the NASDAQ and ES. This is the cleanest of them all. Take a look at this. This, if you don't believe me after seeing this one, I don't know what to tell you. All right? I don't know what to tell you. Take a look at this one right here. What is this? Look at this absolute piece of art. This is art right here. Daily 50. Intraday 1 minute chart Friday of last week. Rejection. 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 Intraday 1 minute chart rejecting the exact daily 50. Look at what happened after it held it. Right here. 10:32 Friday afternoon. Triple top rejection at the daily 50 into the exact low that created the upside move that continued the rest of the day because of that, right? How are we not watching that spot? So, there you go, right? Right there. I'm watching my key levels and I'm using my SMAs at all times. So, let's go ahead and jump into some key levels now that you have that. And here's the thing that I want you to understand, right? Everything that you learned today, if it's new for you, I want you to not just go tomorrow and start. And the beautiful thing is if you guys show up tomorrow, we're going to be using all these ideas and watching all these things in real time together. So you're going to see how I apply all this in real time. But I want you guys to not just change everything you do tomorrow and over however, whatever period of time and just start changing everything and doing things you're not comfortable with. And I want you to slowly understand where I'm coming from, right? Say, hey, I'm going to start watching the 20 and 50, the daily moving average, right? I'm going to start watching them. I'm not going to just start putting all my money, right, into that, but I'm going to watch them. I'm going to take his word for it. I'm going to see if that's something that happens on the intraday, right? And I'm going to see if that starts becoming something I can incorporate into my own trading plan. That's really the goal today, right? So let's go to the daily chart on the NASDAQ futures. And for me on the daily chart, there's a level that shows up for me, and it's right here. It's this high right here. See that? 24,306. Anywhere between that and this high right here, here's the next spot that I really like on the NASDAQ futures. So why do I have that as my next area, my next demand zone on the NASDAQ futures? And something that I want to give you another shortcut on here, if you press on one of these rectangles and you press the space bar, that duplicates it, right? So just so you guys know, if you have a level on your chart or you have anything on your chart and you want to replicate it, just press it and press the space bar. Very nice, right? So here's my next spot. 24,082.75, and I do go to the exact spot, the exact high of that candle, and that is right there. So why do I have that on my charts? Well, I can see here in the past, I have this rejection, I have this rejection here, and I can see that these two rejections right here and right here, in between that area, turned into a support, and we're still above that area. So for me, that's my new demand zone, right? That's another demand zone that I will be watching in the future. If the market trades back to that spot, what happens, okay? That's what my mindset is saying. It's not, hey, if this market goes back to the spot, I'm going to remortgage my house and go all in on calls, right? That is, that is how you lose, okay? This is simply, okay, this is a level that I understand can be a bounce spot, And if we do trade back to that level in the future, also being lined up with my daily 100 SMA, right? This could be a great area for a bounce on the market, right? And I will now watch price action as we get to that point to see if it could give me some opportunity, right? This is not, oh, Desi made a presentation on Sunday, November 16th that had this demand zone, and if we hit that level, I'm going to go ahead and take out my kids' college fund and buy calls, okay? You can't act like that in the stock market. You cannot act upon impulse like that. You need to see what happens. Wait and see. But if we get there, then we're absolutely waiting and seeing with a lot more interest, right? So that's really my daily chart spot. Now, the next daily chart spot that I like on this chart, and something that's in a lot of interest lately, is this high right here for me. See that? So why is that interesting to me? All right? That's interesting to me because this was a very influential high right there. Now, something I want to make a point of here. Major highs or lows that had major reactions off of them is or are very important spots, right? So why is this high right here very important to me? 25,390. Oh, okay. It's slightly discrepant because I used this candle, but I'm gonna put it on this candle for now, right there. We'll put a little zone when we zoom in on that. But for now, 25,388, right? Why is that high so important to me? That high is important for me, okay? Because it is the high that created a massive downside move on the market. From here to here, a 4.8% red day, a massive red day, happened off of that high, right? So that is a massive high. That was the day that Trump announced the tariffs on China, okay? And so that is a high that I absolutely want to be watching. Now, I want to go down to the 4-hour chart now, and I want to break this down even deeper. So we get more minute as we go. So when we look at the 4-hour chart, we can start to see these reactions or how these levels that we created and see how reactions happened at them in the past, right? So that daily chart demand that we created, take a look at this. High, high, high. Look at these holds. Holding here, holding there, and you're right at that daily 100 SMA. So that's going to be a huge spot in the future. Now you can, what I like to do at times, if I zoom in a little bit and I do find something that I need to adjust slightly, I don't have anything wrong with that, right? So when I zoom in on this 4-hour, I see these major 4-hour lows right in this general area here. That might be something I want to be watching, right? These major 4-hour lows might be something I want to be watching. But here's what I like to say when I see that, all right? I see 4-hour lows here. I see 4-hour lows here. I see 4-hour lows here. Now, that is very close to my daily demand zone, right? Between that 24,300, 24,000 area. And so I'm not going to, for me, I'm not going to have that level because I'm not looking to trade short off anywhere near that spot. And I'm not going to be, looking to short anywhere near this major demand area. And you also have that 100 SMA right there. So for me, that's pretty much just my major daily area. I'm down into that major demand. I'm down into this major high. And so if we are trading down in this area, I'm going to be able to zoom out and say, all right, we're near those 4-hour highs and we're near my major demand. This is going to be a very important spot that I want to be watching. Now, when we zoom in a little bit more, we can try to see if we need to fine tune in here a little bit. But for now, I want to keep it very high level because I'm not trying to put 1,000 levels on my chart, right? This is not my goal. My goal is not, let me get 1,000 levels on my chart. I can't. You have to remember, the levels that we're creating are my decision making, and it's starting to get hot in this room now, right? Because the computers, everything's running. Let me see if the air is still down at my 66 degrees. Let me make sure of it. No, it's not. See that? I knew it. The air went back up. Hold on. Let me put the air back down. Bear with me. Bear with me. Damn. Yep, it went right back. It's getting hot in here now. Hold on. Don't get too excited now. I know. That's not why we're here. Yeah, I'm losing the sweatshirt. That's not why we're here. Okay, so I feel a lot better now. So, like I said, I'm not trying to create 1,000 levels on my chart. Why? Because something I need you to remember, when I step into the market day, when I step into the trading day, and I have my levels prepared, that is what is going to be my decision-making spots. Okay, look, yeah, same right there. Same shirt, right underneath. Those are my decision-making spots. Those are the spots that I am going to be trading off of. Right there, right? I am not going to be thinking of ways. I'm not going to be thinking of new spots to trade off of intraday. I am only going to be trading off of the levels that I have pre-made, right? So I can't, you need to look at these charts and you need to remember that this is your blueprint, right? This is your map. When you open up that day, this is the map that you are going to look at to decide how to trade. If I make this map an obnoxious amount of spots, because I'm basically just putting a level at every single spot there is, I'm going to be lost, right? I'm going to be so lost. I'm not going to know where the hell to even look. So I need to be selective with what I'm actually putting on this chart. I need to be selective with the levels that I am going to be trading off of. They have to be major spots, right? A lot of you guys out there, you're on the 1 minute chart. You're marking out every high and low on the 1 minute chart, okay? You got this high marked, that high marked. Let me go ahead and mark this high right here, right? Let me put a little level right there between that high. If I go out to the daily chart or the 4 hour, that is a meaningless level, okay? There's nothing there. You're in the middle of nowhere. You're just trading through nothing, right? There's no major reactions. I need to be trading at major reactions, okay? So this is a major area. What else is a major area? This 4 hour high, right? Right here between this 4 hour high here, I'm going to go ahead and mark this out for you. This high right here to this high right here. Whoops. Let me go ahead and zoom in on this for you. Right in here. That is a major rejection point. Right here, right? And right here. Major rejection point. See those? High, high, high. Triple top high. Bam, bam, bam. So now that is going to be a spot that I'm focused on. 25,368, 25,394. And what I'm going to do there is I'm going to go to red. I'm going to press more, going to press HSV, and I'm going to make it 75% transparency. So now that is my important supply level. And what we can see here is that if we trade back into this high in the future, I am going to be careful of that being a rejection point. Now let's go ahead and take a quick look at what happened when the market went under that level. Take a look at this in the past. So when we broke under that level, right, we had a very aggressive downside move on this market. Very aggressive downside move after breaking under that level. Created a very sharp reaction, and there's going to be another level that you're about to see once we get a little bit more zoomed in. Again, this is a major 4 hour level. There's more. There's more. You might say, hey, that doesn't really seem that nice there. Hold on. Bear with me. We have more minute levels that we will get over. But that is now a major rejection point, right? So this is a failure, and if we trade into this level in the future, we need to be careful of that looking something like this again, right? That's what happened before, and that could absolutely happen again. Now, what I also want to add to this level, now that I can sort of show you, right? Take a look at this. I want to add something to this level now that I look at this. And I'm doing this with you on the fly. So you're getting my real analysis. I'm not just like, I haven't like pre-made these levels with you, but I'm just going to speak out loud in the areas I want to add. There's an area I want to add here, right? And I want to expand this supply a little bit. And the spot I want to add is actually this low right here, right? See this low right here? And see how if we do something like this, let me do something like this. It's going to make a lot of sense to you once you see this. See that? 25,282. I'm going to expand this, and it's going to look pretty good to you right there. Now take a look at this. Rejection, 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 support, rejected, and take a look at what the high, look at what the high of Friday was right there. Look at that. This again is supply zone, not supply level, okay? It's a zone. So this whole area has sellers. There is an imbalance of sellers in this area. There is an imbalance of buyers in this area, right? This is where a lot of, not blue, this is a lot of where buyers are sitting. Here's where a lot of sellers are sitting, right? Selling, selling. Once we got above it, look at it holding. Failed back under it, rejected it, downside. Got back above it, created upside. Failed back under it, created downside, right? There's reactions all based off this spot. Now take a look at this. Look at the high of day. See this? This was the high of day on Friday. And actually, if I do this real quick, right? I'm going to show you something. Is this on 282? I don't think I have it. I'll continue. I don't want to get sidetracked here. So you can see right there, right? 25,282, that exact high from Friday. Look at this. All right. Look at this. Look at Thursday. Low, high, right? The exact low from that Thursday morning that turned into highs was also the high from Friday, okay? What was that level? That was from a 4-hour chart, my friends. That was from a 4-hour chart. That was not just some, that was this low on the 4-hour chart. See this? This was a low from November 4th, right there. Let me do this again for you. Watch. This low November 4th to this high back on that tariff news from Mr. Trump, right there. That area right there, right? This low and those highs, that zone, knowing how important that was, right? Knowing that that was that 4-hour low from the previous week and saying, hey, if we fail back under this 4-hour high, 4-hour low, that might be a really nice spot to watch, right? If we start to turn this area back into rejection, that might be a really interesting area for a fade again. Take a look at that 282 level over the last 2 trading days from last week. Bam, bam, and rejection, right? Look how clean. So coming into this week, right, as we create our thesis for this coming week, what are we going to be looking at? We're going to be saying, okay, I saw this low come in from November 4th, right? And I saw this level turn into a rejection point here back on November 6th. And then on top of that, last week, I saw that zone turn into a failure point on Friday of last week, right? So what is my thesis? What is my mindset as I approach tomorrow, right? What am I going to be what is my thought process here? There's one thing that will be going through my mind. It is, I do not want to be long into this supply level tomorrow. for me to be long tomorrow. I would like this level to turn into a new support, right? Let me see the NASDAQ futures get back above this low at 25,282. If I see that, right, then that will be an area that I would want to look for a potential move off of. There's something I need you guys to understand that are in the chat. This actual number means nothing to you, okay? Because I see a lot of you guys talking about TradingView and it's not right, blah, blah, blah. This number, this could be 5 million, okay? This number right here could say 5 million, right? Right there. That's 5 million on the NASDAQ. That doesn't mean anything. This does not mean anything. What happened in the past and where it happened is what is important. This right here and this right here and this right here. See that? That's the 5 million level on the NASDAQ futures. Go to your chart, right, and look at where the Friday high was and where the rejections from Thursday and where the low was from Thursday. Whatever that level is the level you're watching, right? It does not matter what the level is. It's whatever that wherever that reaction happened. You are looking at reactions, right? That's what's important to me. This could be 4. That's NASDAQ 4 right there. NASDAQ 4 highs, NASDAQ 4 lows, NASDAQ 4 highs, right? And then if I go to the 4 hour, this is 4 on the NASDAQ right here at the same level. That's what's important. Okay, so when numbers don't match up, use dates, right? Use the day or what you're looking at, right? The Friday high, right? So let's go ahead and get to the hourly chart. And let's go ahead and take a look at this and let's really clean this up now on the hourly chart. So the next thing I want to show you guys is what's happened now that we're starting to put this chart together. And we're going to be sort of fine-tuning it as we go. So far, we only have major levels. We only have sort of large time frame levels. The next level that is abundantly clear for me is right in here. Somewhere between these lows right here, right? And actually, I'm going to adjust this slightly because I want to include all of the reactions, okay? I want to include all of these reactions. So where do I want to have this level? I want to look at right around here, right? And right up to, I'm going to call it right up to here. Actually, I'm going to bring it to this low right there. So let me now make this red. And you're about to see how many reactions happened inside of this zone in the past. And how this actually was the best trading opportunity of the last few weeks, without a doubt. And whether you traded it right or not, it really, you need to look at this and realize that this was about as clean as it gets, okay? Whether you did well trading here or not, this is about as clean as it is ever going to get for you on the stock market right here over the last 2 to 3 weeks on the NASDAQ futures. Take a look at this. Major low, into this exact double bottom low, turning into exact rejection highs, triple top highs. This exact triple top high between 25,822 to 25,888, turning into the exact Wednesday high of last week. I don't care what someone had to say as why the market fell on Wednesday. I don't care what they have to say. It doesn't matter to me. Why? How was this a catchable move on the NASDAQ? It's the same exact spot that rejected previously, right here and right here. You could make up 1,000 different complex reasons as to why you failed here. And I don't even want to hear the excuse as there was news that caused it. Because guess what? If you looked at this and said, hey, I like this rejection point and I'm going to short it, guess what? That's exactly what happened. And why would you even look for that? Well, look to the left. It's the exact spot that rejected 3 times right there. Look how beautiful that is. That is not difficult to understand. This does not need to be overcomplicated. Lows into highs and into highs again. Simple as that. Now, here's where a lot of problems happen, right? This may look good on the hourly chart, but a lot of people, and including me, I'm not going to pretend like I don't have problems like this at times as well. But when you zoom into such a minute and short-term time frame, it starts to become a little bit blurry, right? You start to get lost in the sauce. You start to forget where you are. You start to forget where that market is trading, right? Because you're so zoomed in on, let's say, the 1 minute time frame, and you're like, oh, baby, for example, let's go back to Wednesday of last week, okay? Let's go to Wednesday of last week, which is right here. You're looking at the charts like this, and you're like, oh, baby, right here. We're going higher, man. Here we go, right? Bam, bam, bam. I'm all in long. Look at this thing go. We're going straight up. Let's do it, baby. Here we go, right? I'm all in, okay? If you took a second and said, hold up, wait a minute, right? That's actually the exact highs that rejected last week, right? 3 times. Right here, and right here. So wait a second. We're trading into a rejection point. Let's just call this, right? And here's where it starts to translate into your intraday. We're getting there, trust me. Slowly but surely, this is all going to make a lot of sense to you. There's a big buildup to it. Let's say, for example, that this right here is, let's call right here, right here. Let's call this 11 a.m. Monday morning tomorrow, right? Right here. This is 11 a.m. price action, okay? We're going up, right? And I'm getting the Discord messages. Hey, Desi, what do you think about Tesla long? Hey, what do you think about NVIDIA long? Hey, what do you think about me taking some, next week, I'm going to put $20,000 in some next week AMD longs. What do you think about that? I have one thing and one thing only to say to you at that point. Are you watching where the NASDAQ is trading into? Do you have any idea where your market levels are? Do you really want to trade longs right into the Tuesday and Wednesday rejection and Thursday rejection on the NASDAQ futures? Are you sure that you want to be long into that exact same zone? Probably not, right? And so this question is going through my head at all times, right? I am wondering, oh, hold on. Okay, before I take this long, before I take this short, where are we on the market? Are we holding a key demand level or are we rejecting a key supply level? Are we closer to a rejection point than we are to a potential hold spot? Where is the market according to my levels? All right, so tomorrow, am I really going to be that confident in longing this market right into these 4-hour highs? Probably not, right? I'm not going to be able to just look at this daily chart and look at these failures on the daily chart and say to myself, yeah, I'm going to long everything into this, right? Now, you're going to have the Timmies and Jimmies. You're going to have the people that say, oh, Desi, we went higher. Why didn't you long the market? Look, it went right through it. That is how you start to fail long term. That mindset right there. The fact that something happens that one time does not make you just immediately just forget the fact of what's happened in the past. The market does things that it's done in the past, right? All you can use is historical reactions. That's all you can use. There's nothing else that you can go off of. You can't go off of hope and vibes or hope and dreams. You can't go off of vibes. You can't go off, I told you so. Trust me, bro, this time's different, right? This is, oh man, this time it's going to go higher. Trust me. And I'm going to tell you I told you so when it happens after the fact. You can't go off of that. All I can go off of tomorrow morning when I prepare for the trading day is the fact that the last time the NASDAQ was under this level and traded into it, it rejected. And I am now not going to set up a long position at that exact rejection point? How could I, right? So that is what's going to be my thesis as I come into tomorrow. If we are rejecting this level, I am not going to be putting on aggressive longs. Now, if we reclaim that level, and I see on the 4-hour chart that we are now above this high right here, now I could say, okay, if we could hold above that level, right, then we could turn that into a support, and it could create an upside opportunity, right? No, I can't even take a scalp. I wouldn't even look to take a scalp into that because I know it's up against me, right? Why am I trading against this 4-hour rejection zone? If I'm going to long this market, I want to be long closer to a demand area, not as we approach a major supply. So I'm not going to be looking to long right into Friday's highs tomorrow. Now, we'll see where we're at, right? If we're above Friday's highs tomorrow, if we're above this hold area from Thursday, if we're turning this area back into support tomorrow, right? If we're looking at something like this and you keep seeing the market holding above it, then, you know, maybe the things change. But for now, that's very clear to me. So I'm looking at this chart and I'm saying, okay, I got hourly here. That's a new level, right? I got that major 4-hour area here. I'm going to zoom out again, 4-hour chart. I can see these highs here. I can see these lows right here. That's a nice spot. Now there's another little spot that I zoom in here and I go to the hourly chart and I can see another little spot I want to have on my charts. And that is right around the lows from last week. It's right in here. I see a little bit of a, consistent low that was created. It's really close to this area here, so it's a little bit sloppy for me there on the NASDAQ futures. Right? Because here's the problem for me. Okay, here's the problem for me tomorrow. If we get above 25,394, right, let's say, once again, let me zoom out. Let me make sure you guys understand what that level is. Okay, you need to understand how major that level is. If you get above 25,394, which is this daily high right here, that's a huge spot. If you get above that, I still need to pay attention to some of these lows that were created last week, right, on this hourly chart. See all in here? See, like right around this 25,500 area, you have some of these lows that were created. You have a little bit of a low here on Tuesday. You have a very strong low here on Monday. You have a nice strong low on Wednesday. Big low on Wednesday again. And then let me take a look at what happened here on Thursday. Let me take a look. What happened here on Thursday? Was there a clear reaction here on Thursday? Huh. Right? Look at that. Look at Thursday on the market. That was the day that we rejected the perfect previous day highs, right? Look at that right there. Bam, rejection. Bam, rejection. See those rejections? Now I'm going to throw in a little treat for you here. Why not? Let me throw in a little treat for you here. That was on what day? That was on the 13th. Okay. All right. Let's go to here. Let's go to the 13th. All right? Take a look at this. Here's some live trading for you. That was that same spot right here on the QQQ. It was 618 on the QQQ. Let me show you. QQQ. That spot on that Thursday, right? And here's where it's all starting to come together. I traded on that day off that level because I knew it was there, right? I knew that we had. So if I zoom out here, sorry about that, apologies. Let me get this clean. I'm going to make it nice and clean for you. Here's your QQQ lows from that area, right? Here's your low from that Monday. It's right in this Tuesday area, right in here. You have that Monday low, that Tuesday low, that Wednesday low, right? Which is that exact NASDAQ level right here. 25,488. Okay. Let me get that for you. 25,488. That spot, that Wednesday low. Take a look. Look what I had on my charts on Thursday. I had previous day low and I had 618. And I knew that we were rejecting the previous day low in a major level on the chart. So what did I do? Right here, I shorted the QQQ. I tried to short on that QQQ there, and that created a beautiful downside trade of over 50%, pretty much right here. Why did that happen? Because I was prepared with the key level, right? It was right here on the NASDAQ. I was prepared that, okay, the NASDAQ futures rejected underneath this Wednesday low and turned it into exact failures on Thursday morning. I mean, it's just perfect. And I didn't need to know anything else besides the fact that you were rejecting a previous day low. That's it. That's all I had to know. We are rejecting 25,500, 25,488, the previous day low, which is also, when I go to this hourly chart, previous major lows over the last week of time, right? And so for that, I do need to be careful tomorrow at that level now, at 25,500 to 25,488, right? That is now an area of potential rejection for me. So if we do trade higher into that zone, I will be careful. So when I look at this chart, just, full transparency, when I look at this chart, I have a very hard time being long, realistically, anywhere below last week's triple bottom lows right here. Even if we got above that 394 level, I would have a pretty hard time being long right back into these lows from last week, right? It's not that inviting to me. It's just simply not that inviting to me when I create my charts. Because what am I looking at? I'm looking at a major, and you guys can do this you can use this as a study, right? Or this is what I do. See this right here? This daily high, 25,394. What I'll do is, right, I'll just do this, major daily high. Right? That is a major daily high right there. So when I look at this chart short term, we go to the 15-minute chart, we analyze for tomorrow, right? What's our game plan? I'm looking at this right here. I'm saying, okay, we're trading off we're holding the daily 50, which is good. Okay, good hold, daily 50. I like that. That's a good hold. But, we are trading right into this Thursday rejection point and Friday high at 282. We're also trading into 25,400, that major daily high. So that's a little bit difficult for me to, want to put aggressive long positions on, because I've seen major rejections here in the past. I also saw just last week on Thursday that we had a major failure back under some lows that were established earlier in the week, right? Here's a major low, here's a major low, here's a major low. So you have a major rejection here as well. So I'm looking at, a move higher here that's littered with some pretty massive potential rejection points. And I don't care, right? And I already know the mindset of some of you guys, right? And the mindset of some of you that needs to be fixed is you can't help but feel like you are going to miss out if you trade higher. Oh my God, right? We're trading higher. We're into these supply lows. How did I not catch that 100-point move into this supply, right? I know. That is the mindset that you need to stop having. Like, seriously. You can't look at this and say, well, Desi, what about if it trades from 25,180 to 25,280? How do I not trade that 100 points of NASDAQ upside? How do you just miss out on that? Well, you do. And you stop being a degenerate, right? And you stop being just, needing to trade every second of every candle that happens on this chart, right? You look at this and say, there's a lot of supply above, right? There's major daily rejections here. There's major previous lows here. Do I really need to be long into this area? Like, am I required to have to trade through that? No, right? Not at all. You're also in a potentially downtrending market here, right? That's potentially starting to downtrend. That's going to trade back into major highs. That's going to trade back into those lows from last week. And you should look at this and say, I need to proceed with some caution, right? These are some major potential failure points. And I'm not going to just be looking to just, take any kind of random trade back into these levels just because I feel like I need to make some money. So for me next week, I'm pretty hands off onto that. Right? I'm like, okay, this could be a pretty massive rejection. And I need to be aware of that. And the possibility that we could reject that zone. Okay? So sort of some mindset things for you as we, create these levels. Make sure we're all good here. Yeah, okay. So that's really where my levels are right now. I got this major pivot supply here. I got these lows from last week and that major rejection from Thursday, right? I got that major daily supply that's sitting back above. And if I go and zoom out, let me see if I see any demand levels to the downside that I want to watch for some potential holds. Let's zoom out and take a look. So the first level that I see here on the downside, and a big spot that I've been watching, is right around these highs here, and you can actually see this on the 4-hour chart as well. I'll zoom in here on the 4-hour chart, and you can actually see this pretty well. It's these 4-hour highs right around here. Right around this 25,000, to give or take, it's a little bit sloppy on the NASDAQ here, but give or take right around there to 24,975. And I'm going to go ahead and now bring this down to the hourly chart, and you're going to see something. It's going to make a lot of sense, okay? Look at this hourly chart, and take a look at this zone I just created. Take a look at this zone I just created between 25,000 and 24,975. 25,027 and 24,975. Take a look at that right there. I see major highs. I see major highs. I see major lows, major lows, major lows. I see major highs. I see a little bit of noise right here, but generally some pretty nasty rejections. I see some major lows, and I see just short term over in the 15-minute chart. Take a look at this. Take a look at this. Look at the low from Thursday. Look at the rejection on overnight session, right? And take a look at this hold that is coming in right now. That's pretty damn nice, right? That's pretty damn nice. So, and I also take a look at this. Look at this. Look at the, oh, I didn't even see, this one, even this one blows my mind a little bit. I still get things that blow my mind, okay? Look at the 1-minute chart. What level held on Friday? 1-minute chart, look. That even blows my mind just a little bit right there. NASDAQ futures, right there. That and that. 24,975. Let's delete it off our charts. Let's pretend like it's not even there. Let's go back to the 4-hour. How did we find 24,975? How did that level even get on my charts? What's this high? 25,000? 27? What's this high right here? See this high right here? 24,975.50. Let me go back to the 1-minute chart from Friday. Give me a break. All right? Why did the market hold there? It's based off of key levels. Why did the market hold there on Friday? It's all based on the fact that you just held back above these highs and that high and these lows and this high and these lows. And look at how that reclaim on Friday was a reactionary spot that provided opportunity. And if you can just trade off of these key spots, those are the trades that you should be looking to take on the intraday. Look how key that reaction was on Friday. Right there. And right there. So, pretty crazy, right? Now, let's move on. So you're looking at this chart, And you're saying, all right, Desi, you got me a nice demand zone below. That's pretty damn clear, right? Let's just say I got some Friday lows here, right? We'll obviously keep that Friday low in our charts. Let's call it 24,700. So you got me, this key demand level here from the Thursday low, also from that major level that held here. You also are telling me that I shouldn't be long into the 25,282, into that 25,394, right? So where do I trade, right? And this is where you were watching price action at these inflection points to watch, and the price action will show you what to be looking for. But also in between these areas is what I like to do and what I like to call, and I know what you guys are going to know what I'm about to say. So in between, right, 25,000, 27, and 25,282 Friday's highs, in between that area, for me, tomorrow, is who's going to say it first? I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. An NTZ, right? So why would I want to trade into short to these lows and long to these highs? Why would I want to trade there? Why would I want to be short into these lows and long into these highs? No reason. What am I going to look for tomorrow? I am going to look for sellers to lose here and potentially trade a long for a scalp. If you're looking to scalp, right? This would be your scalp trade. And I know a lot of you guys were asking, well, that's a pretty big zone. It's 120 points, right? There's definitely opportunity there on a scalp type trade, okay? Now, you do need to take that trade and still have your bigger term mindset and say, okay, if I see a nice price action reaction at that 25,282, if I see buyers really holding up this spot on tomorrow on Monday, maybe I look for a little long here, right? And I would then understand that I am trading long into that daily supply. But and your thought process here is I need to be a quick scalp trader, right? This is not an area that I would want to be, hey, I'm long a swing trade because of a Friday high hold when I still have a daily high right there, right? That's not really interesting to me. Now, could I look for a scalp above this high maybe, right? For a nice little hold and maybe get, maybe I'm risking 20 points here and maybe I'll get 60 points. Sure, right? Sure. That's an idea, right? Because you're trading on a reclaim of that high and you're looking for a trade maybe up into that daily supply. That's a possibility. Or you could say, it depends on you. Or you could say, hey, I don't like that trade, Desi. I'm going to wait for us to break that daily high. If we break that daily high, then I'll look to trade, my 100-point long back into 500. You can trade these areas as long as you understand what you are trading into. So if I'm long 25,400, then I am only long into 25.5. I'm only long for that area. I'm not long looking for the next generational bull run, right? I'm just long on a scalp back into that next spot. All these questions, you guys, how do you determine stops? We're getting there, guys. We are only we're not even scratching the surface, right? We're not even scratching the surface. And I'm going to give you as much as I can during these live streams, but there is so much to learn, right? And so much I can provide you, but, obviously time is a restraint, but I hope you're starting to see how this comes together. So I look at this on Friday and I say, hey, that was some pretty hard to read price action, right? Look at the rest of the day on Friday. We basically traded sideways ever since that reclaim of 25,027. We got that nice move and we went sideways for the rest of the day. So what's my thought process tomorrow? If we trade within the range of Friday's afternoon, then I am not looking to get active inside of that area. Where can I look to trade? I could look to trade a short at 282 if I really want. I can look to trade a long back at 25,000 demand, right? I can look to set up a potential scalp short here. I can potentially look for a long back at my green demand zone. You can get active at these zones. There is a level of understanding and experience required if you are going to trade at these spots. So to an amateur or to a veteran trader, he may say, hey, I know this is a major supply level. I could grab a few points short if I see good price action showing me that there is a rejection at my key spot, right? Or he could say, hey, I know that this 24,975 was a key pivot from Friday. If I see some price action showing me some buying here, I could grab a little scalp back into the zone, right? And I could grab my little, my little profit. But there's a lot of traders out there that have no business doing that. Zero business. And that's where I initiate NTZs for you, right? That's why I initiate the NTZ for a lot of people. And this is why I talk about this, because I'm conscious that not everyone can understand this or is not at this point in their trading. I am very capable of looking for a pullback long off this demand and taking a quick win, right, off that potential trade. For example, the QQQ short that happened on that day, right? That was a scalp and nothing more than a scalp, right? On that short on Thursday. It was a scalp. Even the, like any reactionary trade, it could continue or it could bounce the next spot, right? If you're trading a long, you could trade a long off these demand lows all day. But if you're longing this demand zone with the expectation that you are going to break out to new all-time highs, that is where you are going to be very wrong, right? Or if you're shorting this low without any worry in the world that you have a Thursday major demand below, that is a very big problem. And that's where a lot of people sort of fall short. So that's why I create these NTZs for you. So the NTZ is designed to keep you out of chop consolidation, which we have previously seen, and only trade if you get exponential moves outside of that zone, right? So what would I want to see here to trade the NASDAQ futures to the downside? Well, let me go ahead and take a look at this 1 minute chart. If I take a look at this, right, I may look at this failure here and this hold here, and I could say to myself, hey, if the NASDAQ futures breaks under this demand zone tomorrow, right, gets outside of this NTZ, breaks under this major hold level from Friday, if we hold below that area, right, then I can initiate a short using that level as my stop loss. And I will know that you have better price action through that area. That is the no trade zone, the NTZ, correct, the no trade zone. So this is my game plan for tomorrow. Right? You have basically just seen me create my game plan as I was educating for tomorrow's trading session, right? I am not going to short into Thursday's lows. I am not going to short into the lows right here. If I go to the 5 minute chart, I have no interest in being short or having an entry short near this demand zone, right? That's really the right way to say it. I am not going to initiate a short position as you trade into Thursday's lows and into this Friday rejection point, right? Why would I want to be short right into this low right here? That does not make any sense to me. And also on the same side, why would I want to initiate a long position if I am right into Friday's highs, which all correlate to those major levels that we just created, right? These levels were not just created because of the Friday high and Friday low. Not a single level you are looking at on this chart was created on anything lower than an hourly time frame. I want you to remember that, okay? Not a single colored level on this chart was created on anything lower than an hourly time frame. These are all high-level spots on the market. And you see how it reacted on the intraday, right? So I am going to be looking to see, I'm not going to be short into these lows, and I'm not going to be long into the highs, right? And I'm going to stay away from losing my money like so many people love to do inside of chop, right? And I can already see, like, I see it, right? I see the eagerness in the chat, the salivation, right? There should be no reason to be salivating over tomorrow's price action if it is doing what it did all day Friday, besides this move. This was the only move that provided opportunity off this demand low and off of this flip, right? From this demand low to here and over this demand low to here, right? These are the only trades, here and here. It was from this level to this level, over this level to this level. Besides that, you have not broken another level. You are now stuck between two levels, here and here. Where's the next break? We need to wait for it to break the next major spot before I will be able to see something like this and like this. If it is not between, if it does not break one of these spots, what do we expect? We expect this. And if you're going to tell me that that's not right, that is you forecasting and predicting the future. All we can go off of is what has happened in the past. What do I see here in the past? I saw a chop between these two levels. That's all I saw, right? So what am I going to look for now? I'm going to look for this high to turn into lows to create price action, or I'm going to look for this rejection and that hold from Friday to turn and break down and that major 4-hour level to turn into a rejection point to trade this way, right? I'm going to see if these levels invalidate and if reactions come out of it. Here's the last thing I'm going to do before we have to move on to the next section. Unfortunately, we're going to have to move on to the next section because we went pretty long, but I think it's good. If key levels never broke, if you're looking at this and saying, Desi, if one of those breaks, then what's the point of creating them? If they never broke, what would the market do in solitude? It would go sideways forever, okay? If this market stayed within this area forever, you would go, or if these levels were not designed to break, the break of these levels is what creates volatility and creates price action. These are the trades that you want to be a part of. When it is trading between these levels, this is what you want to stay away from, right? If these levels never broke, if they were designed to hold forever, what the market would do would go sideways for eternity. So levels are designed to break. Breaks of key levels puts one side of the trade on the wrong side of the trade, and that is what creates the action that you profit off of, right? So you need to be looking at what's my key spot that needs to break, and when it breaks, do I see price action that warrants an entry point? If it is not breaking a level, I am not trading a chart, right? That is the last thing we're going to talk about when it comes to these levels. And we will do a lot more of this live on Monday and Tuesday, and we do this every damn day in the group, and definitely, yeah, I mean, this is just our life. This is our life. This is what we do every day. So that's my game plan. We got to get through this presentation, and we got to get through some setups, and we still have Q&A. So we're running real behind. But you know what? That's all right. Let's continue. Let's get into some, or maybe, just maybe, I save some of this. No, let's keep going. Let's go to 7:30. Let's go to 7:30. Let's go 7:30, and then let's go 7:45, and then let's get 15-minute Q&A. And then whatever we don't do, we'll make sure to do tomorrow and Tuesday on the presentation side. Because we got to get through some setups too. We can't forget about just, getting some looks. Like, how are we going to make money tomorrow, right? We said, Desi, how am I going to make money tomorrow? I want to make money tomorrow, right? How am I going to do it? Well, we're going to get into that. So, mastering your mindset, everything we just talked about. Do you realize that everything we just created on those technical charts, right, on those charts, is meaningless if you go into tomorrow and take a long at your supply level, right? Hey, Desi, I don't give a shit what you just talked about. I'm long 25,282. Bam, straight down. How did I lose again, right? If you can't stick to something, right? If this is my system, right? I am passionate about my system. You can tell that. I am going to stick to this, and no one's going to tell me otherwise. If I then tomorrow, and you guys can call me out on my BS, and you guys in the chat, the Discord, who's traded live with me for years, you know this happens at times, right? And people call me out for it, and I appreciate that. If I long tomorrow, and these are the worst days ever. These are the days that piss me off more than anything else. If I long something tomorrow and the NASDAQ rejects this high and I lose, that is the worst day you could possibly put in front of me. Those are the days that really get me pissed off, right? Why? Why does that day piss me off? Because if I long something and ignore the fact that this rejection is here and it just does something like this, which is about as easy as any 2-year-old could read. Hey, why did the market go down today? Well, it just rejected that previous spot right there, right? That looks about right. It went down here, so why doesn't it go down here? So if we go to tomorrow and the market goes like this, and I longed here, there is nothing more frustrating than that. So my mindset is that I need to stick to that system. And you know what? If the market goes up into that level tomorrow and I can't, and it breaks out and I just don't find the long and it keeps going higher, or if that market rejects that high and I don't catch that short, I got to be okay with that. But at least my analysis was correct, right? And my mindset and my thought process was right. And I need to be happy with that. I can't go against my system. I can't allow my mind and my greed and my fear and all of these things to go a separate direction intraday, right? I need to be using those technicals, and I need to tailor my mindset to that system. So tomorrow, right, my mindset is no longs into that red supply, no shorts into that green demand below. Let me see what happens at those levels. If I see reaction on the short-term time frames that warrants an idea or warrants a position, then I will react, right? Mastering your mindset, your why will determine your success. You guys can clearly tell by our presentation today, I have not stopped talking for 2.5 hours. I mean, it has been straight blabbering from my mouth nonstop. No breaks, no interruptions. If this does not display passion, I don't know what does. There is a level of passion in what I do that is probably untouched. And for the 100 people that have dropped off this live stream, I can tell you, they're not making it, right? I'm telling you right now. Maybe they had some, sorry to those that, have some things they had to do. I understand. You got kids, you got to get somewhere. But to those that are rewatching this, that you dropped off because you're bored of me, you're not going to make it, okay? That's it. You're not going to make it. There is a level of passion here that is, I will outwork anyone. I will outwork anyone. And definitely the people that have already got off this live stream, without a doubt, right? Traders don't fail because reading charts is difficult. It is not difficult to read charts. They fail because of greed, lack of discipline, and they compare each other. You compare yourself to other people. You are comparing yourself to what I have done. You are comparing yourself to what someone on Twitter has done. You are comparing yourself, you're comparing your journey to someone else's. You cannot compare your journey to someone else because it's not, you can't do it. You can't do it. You cannot put yourself in someone else. You can't jump to someone else's level of experience. You need to be in your own lane. And you need to understand where you are. These are all problems in your own mind. These are not problems with your ability to read technicals. These are not problems with your ability to be a good reader of what a stock chart might do. You guys might, there's probably people in here that predict things better than I do, right? But if you can't control how you manage or how emotional you are during a position, or you can't control yourself from going all in on every trade you take, right? Those little things, that's what causes the overall failure. So the discipline, right? There's nothing more important than a routine. Some kind of a routine that you just walk into the day and do the same thing every time. Realistic expectations. You are not, and I repeat, not going to turn $1,000 into $100,000 in your first year of trading. Could someone that's very good at trading do this? Absolutely. Could I? I would say that'd be very tough for me. I'm not going to lie, right? Could I turn $1,000 into $100,000 in a single year? That would be very, very tough. And I don't even think I would be something I'd even want to do, right? That kind of stress, or that kind of, just trying to turn a very small amount into a very large amount, starting my trading journey with that mindset, that being my ultimate goal, is not really, you're already sort of setting yourself up with the mindset that you are just sort of here to do nothing but try to turn a little into a lot. You're not here with any kind of passion. You're not trying to learn something, a skill that can pay you for a lifetime, right? Stop leading with the thought of getting rich. Stop leading with, Desi, can I turn my $500 into $1 million this year? You're doomed, right? Hey, can I learn how to trade? Can I learn how to trade? And then can I slowly take my $1,000 into $2,000? Can I start to snowball this account over a couple years, right? And then am I going to be there when I have $5,000, $10,000 in my Robinhood account, and then another big opportunity comes around like COVID, and I hit a big one for $50,000, $60,000 because of my education and my foundation and my experience that I have built up for those years and years of time, right? That is what happened to me, just so you know. I had $10,000 in my trading account, and it went to $50,000 in a few days because of COVID. It was a compound of experience. It was a compound of time that I was there at the right time, right place, with the right education, right? I am not solely, when I was trading back then, my mindset was not, I need to make $100,000. My mindset was show up, take trades, learn, and the money just naturally started to come in. You should not have a monetary goal. You should not have a thought of getting rich. It should be, I understand one thing and one thing only. If I learn how to do this, I have clearly seen the monetary gain that is possible, right? You do not need, if I need to influence you that you can make a lot of money learning how to trade, then you're way too skeptic, right? You all know that you can make a lot of money in trading if you do it the right way. That is without a doubt. So why even question that, right? Just know that, hey, if I do this the right way, if I do this process driven, right, this will just naturally start to occur. If I do the right things, if I do the right moves, this is something that will continue to compound. I shouldn't try to force this. I shouldn't try to rush this process. Trying to rush this process is very difficult. You're putting added stress upon yourself that is extremely difficult to control, right? So we talked about creating our thesis, levels to define our entries and exits, reduces the impulsivity of your charts, right? Every day, you're not going to just impulse into something. You say, all right, let me have a real plan. Go back to the market, right? My plan is, hey, right? I'm sure a lot of people just shorted the market here, right? How many people do you think just took a short here in the overnight session? And now we're getting squeezed out of this position. And then maybe in the next 5 minutes, it will come right back down and they'll short it again. Guess what? You are trading in literally no man's land. And this is all meaningless, by the way. The only thing meaningful I would say right now is that the daily 50 is holding right here. This is all meaningless price action, my friends, right now, right? And how many people are just recklessly got their Top Step Project X account open? Maybe not even more because it's being shut down for other brokers, but who's got their Trade Evade account open and is just slamming positions here for absolutely zero reason, right? Who is disciplined enough to say, I need to not trade right now because there's no levels in sight. I'm trading inside of exact nonsense from Friday's price action. Who is disciplined enough to not be slamming positions right now for absolutely no reason, right? Just because they're trying to make a few $100s tonight to pay for some dinner, right? I mean, it's so easy to just be recklessly doing this stuff. But it's not, there's no process to that, right? It's not something that you can confidently repeat. If I just long the NASDAQ right now, I'd probably make a few bucks maybe, right? I'd make a few $100 long. Let's just hypothetically say, hey, I'm long 1 NQ at 76, right? Great. If this thing goes to 200, I'll make 30 points on the NASDAQ. Great, right? I'll make $600. But am I going to be able to do that again just because I pressed the buy button for no reason, right? No. So something you got to really think about. Do I want to go through this? Yeah, let's go through this. Let's build a thesis together, okay? Let's build this thesis right here in front of us together. Let's watch how this plays out, okay? This is very interesting. This is the NASDAQ back at 25,853, and I'm going to show you exactly where this was, by the way. That was right here. 25,853 was this low, I believe. Yes, it was. So that is this time frame right here that we're talking about. Let me go down to the 15-minute chart. Let me show you exactly where this was. So I'm going to use the example in the slide, but also go back to the real time. See this? Right here. You have this low, these lows, this area here that rejected. This was Tuesday of 2 weeks ago. It was a fantastic short opportunity. Let's build this together. What do I write to the group on this day? We remain in the NTZ. That means we remain patient today. The market has yet to show us its hand, okay? The double bottom low is at 25,853. That's right here, 25,853, right? Could definitely be a reason we continue higher to new all-time highs. Yeah, right? Absolutely. If we hold there, maybe new all-time highs, very possible. I don't know. I'm not acting like I know what happens here in between this area. Something I'm watching as of now, definitely more bullish than bearish for good reason. Let's be cautious up at the supply high again. Have to anticipate rejections up there until we see otherwise, right? So all I'm saying here is we're inside of the NTZ. We could hold these lows, and we could reject these highs. What else do I have to go off here? Nothing, right? So I'm not trading in there. So that's the no trade zone, right? Right in here. That's my no trade zone. So what happens? We got the break, right? Right here. See this? This was in the after hours. If the NASDAQ pops and fails between 25,853 and 25,943 zone, this is a lower high rejection of previous lows. If those previous lows turn into new highs, we could need the larger downside move towards 25,400 on the NASDAQ, right? I would definitely be looking for shorts between this low volume zone if established a good rejection today. That is a move I'm anticipating right here. That is right here, my friends. We dropped below that level and we pushed higher and rejected the previous level of support. And if I go down to the time frame there, and I actually think I have the live trade here. That is right here. This is that day. Let me see if I can play this. You're not going to hear it. Let me see if I can. Yeah, unfortunately, you're not going to hear it. That's right here. So we have a live trade here. And this was a trade we took on that Tuesday. And you can see that all we did that day, let me go into this day, 11/4. Let me go to the 1 minute chart. Let me zoom out, 1 minute chart. Let me zoom out. Let me go to 11/4. And that is right here. So we have this low, right? We have this low. That's 2 days of lows. Major low, major low. What did we do the next day? We looked to see if it would reject. Look at this day. Here's your intraday right here. All I did was look to see if that rejected. And what did it do? It rejected perfectly. And look at that opportunity. So if we go back to here, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this, but I'll put it up. It's not playing. How do I get the volume to play? Oh, hold on. Bear with me. Bear with me. I know what happened. Is this it? Well, you can see right there that we're short. We're rejecting that NASDAQ zone. See this right here? That's 25,888 to 25,849. Actually, I have this. Do I have this live? Let me see if I have the recording to this. I don't know why the volume's not playing. Beyond me. Let me try that one more time. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure why that's not playing, but we're short there, right? Oops. And why did I take that short, right? Why did I short the ES there? Why did I look for a downside on the market? Again, I am simply watching to see if that level turns into a rejection point, okay? I think we've talked about that enough. Let's move on. The break and retest strategy. And that really is what I'm looking for at those levels, right? The break and retest of that key level. It is a break of a key level. It is a retest of a key level. And there's 4 major steps that we need to focus on, right? And we've talked a lot about this already. So you're going to hear a lot of things we already talked about. We need to identify our key levels, okay? We need to identify our key levels. Let's use this. This is a beautiful Tesla example for you right now today. Tesla, 312 to 336. This was back a while ago, but this is a great example. What are you looking at on these charts, right? 312, 312, 312, 336, 336, 336. I have a key support at 312. I have a key rejection at 336. Excuse me. So what am I not going to do? I'm not going to trade inside of this middle area. If I'm going to long, I'm longing here. If I'm going to short, I'm shorting here. Or I'm going to wait for a level to break, right? Which I like more. I'm going to wait for one of these levels to break. That is right here. See this 336? This is an intraday chart where you can see the market or Tesla traded into that 336. Again, this major hourly chart level. 1 rejection, 2 rejection, 3 rejection, 4 rejection. This is an hourly chart. This is a 2-minute candle. 336 rejection. Now, what am I waiting for? I need to wait, like I said, for a level to break. What did it do? It broke. That's the breaker candle, right? I have a candle that has officially broken a key level. Now, we enter? No. We do not enter. This is not an entry. This is not an entry. You are not chasing this breakout. What do I need to see? I need to now see this turn into support, right? Show me something that it's going, show me some price action that this is going to hold, right? And we can see that we started to hold this area, and I have this live example for you right here. This is the battle zone, right? I am now watching, now that we have officially broken my key level, what is happening on the intraday, and am I seeing a reason that this level is starting to turn into support? Am I seeing some wicking candles back to the upside, right? Am I seeing, nice bullish confirmation above that previous rejection point? So let me go ahead and show you. I believe I have it. Here it is. Let me go ahead and show you a live example of this.
It's gone for now, Tesla, but it's going to come back for us somewhere.
Gone for now, right?
Give us a pullback.
Who's chasing this? Who's chasing this? Desi! It's gone. I need to long now, right? I can't wait. I have to enter right now. If I don't enter right now, it's my goal forever, and I might lose out on this trade.
Targeting 350 here on Tesla.
It needs to pull back.
Tesla, one little red candle pullback for me. Come on. Hopefully there was a plan there.
I need it to show me that this is going to hold. I can't chase this high. Give me a pullback. Show me that buyers are going to step up back above that 336 level. Show me something.
All right, I might be looking to get into Tesla here.
I'm interested as it pulls back, right? I want to see the reaction.
Watching this pullback. Good. Let's see how the buyers step up this pullback.
I'm watching the price action here. This is where it's very important to watch the price action.
This is the pullback we're looking for. That's exactly it.
Bruce, appreciate that, Bruce.
This is the retest. Let's see if we get a hold.
I mean, this is exactly what we're talking about, right? And I'm doing it live with the group. So watch. See that candle?
I'm very ready.
Hold on. Watch this candle. See how it's starting to get bought up?
Oh.
See how this next candle's starting to flip green?
I just hate how the ES is at 60-40, but...
There you go. Again, it's like... It's everything I've already... What did I just say? I was concerned about the ES being at supply, which is a very valid concern, right? If the ES is at a rejection point, and I long this Tesla position, and then the S&P 500 rejects the supply, that could be tough, right? That could be something that makes me miss a trade, right? That's what I just said there.
Watching this. I mean,
that was it. I had to enter there, right?
Stop.
You see that I mean, you started to get that. That is the confirmation that you're going to get in the stock market. I say this all the time to the group. You are not going to get an angel on your shoulder that says, hey, what do we got? I'll talk, Vinny, my boy Vinny Rucco. Vinny Rucco, oh. Hey, Vinny. It's going to go higher, man. Trust me. Don't worry. You buy now, right? Trust me. It's going to do it. That is never going to happen. You are never going to get the confirmation that you are for sure going to be right, okay? You need to get over the feeling that you need that. You have to see your system, your setup, and you need to trust it. I saw a break of 336. I saw a pullback to that level. I'm now seeing bullish confirmation that is starting to hold that spot. I'm in the trade, okay? If this thing decides to smack me and go straight back down, then I have to stop out under 336. And that's it. Trade's over. I lost. Move on, okay? Move on. There's nothing else that is going to save you, right? This is my idea. It's a break and retest of a major 336 level. This is not just an intraday level. This is a break and retest of a major hourly chart level. I got my break. I got my retest. I just saw this candle start to push off of that.
I mean,
what else am I waiting for, right? What else am I waiting for? There's nothing else I could possibly wait for. I have to take that trade. If you are saying to yourself, I have to take that trade, you are heading in the right direction. Why do I say that? Because that means that there is something firing in your mind, that it is the system that you're looking for is working, and you know in your mind that this is exactly what you're looking for, and that in your system it says take the trade, right? You're calculating this, bam, 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 this, that. If that happens, this, that. The end result, big green, ding, buy the position, right? You know the little the little trees that if this happens, that, if that, this. If the end result in your mind, all those neurons that are firing, right? You guys know the memes, all the neurons firing. If the end result says buy, and if that end result, right? Think about this, okay? Watch this. I'm a flashbang. Flashbang. There's a flashbang for you, right? Do I trade? I'm gonna say do I trade? DIT. Right? We got all these neurons firing in your heart. If this happens, then this, that, this, right? I got if that happens, then this happens, right? If I got all these things going on in my mind, if the end result says take the trade, right? If that's the end result, that is take the trade. If this little thing down here comes along right here, this is a little, you guys know what this is. This right here is the word if this little thing right here comes along, right? Oh no, right? What do? That, you need to stop that, right? That. When this is gone is when you will become very successful. When this goes away, right? And you say, that's my trade, that's my place, I'm taking the trade. And it doesn't always happen like that, right? You should not have this feeling with that much confidence every single day and every minute of the day, right? That doesn't happen every day, okay? But if there's something out there that you're like, okay, I like this, you need to trade it, right? You can't just have nothing but hesitation throughout your entire trading career, right?
Long Tesla stop under 336.
So my stop is under 336. I'm in around 338. So I got 2 points of risk here on Tesla, right? I got 2 points of risk. I'm about break even here.
Rip this thing. ES looks good. NASDAQ looks strong. Rip this thing.
Rip this thing. I gotta wait.
See if Tesla can be special for us today.
The stop loss is under the key level that you've established. We'll talk about it. That's your stop.
Break.
We'll talk about it.
340 break, we should push. I might sell some into this next push here.
So the reason I'm selling into this push is that's a 1-to-1. I scale off at 1-to-1s. I don't care what you have to say. That's what I do. I scale off at 1-to-1s. I don't get fully out at 1-to-1s. I scale out at 1-to-1s. Why do I do that?
Off there. I'd like to ride this.
It's right around that 11-10% is what I scale out at.
I really would. Oh, what a trade, dude.
And that was just an absolute beautiful day.
All right, 350.
That thing went from 338 to our next supply at 346. That thing ran $8 a share. So we risked 2 and it went up 8. You can see I'm scaling out as we get it. 10. I'm down to 10 there, right? We're at 55, down to 35 here on this sell. Then I'm down to 10. And then finally I exit fully at that high. That's a scaling out move, right? As I get my win. Free. Totally free trade. Absolutely. Let's continue.
It's gone for now.
It's gone for now. Hold on, I got to change this. Presenter view. There we go. So here's a lot of your questions, right? Here's a lot of your questions right here. Risk reward versus confirmation. Okay, risk reward versus confirmation. Who's my broker? Who's my broker? I trade with Interactive Brokers and E-Trade. I trade both. I have both accounts still. Here is the thought process that you need to have when it comes to stop losses. Okay, this is the stop loss thought process that I would highly recommend. If my trade on Tesla was off of 336, what does that mean? That means that my thought process or my thesis on this trade was that if Tesla breaks this major 336 level and turns it into support, that is a valid reason to look long on Tesla off of that level. Think about that. If I stop out of this trade above 336, I am exiting a trade when my idea that I originally had is still valid. TOS has terrible option fills. That's why I don't trade that. If I am entering a position based off $336, a previous level that I have identified as a major rejection point that is now turning into a support level on the intraday, if I am entering a trade with the thesis because of that, and I then exit the position before that level breaks and it invalidates, what am I doing, right? Like you could ask yourself, the one question is, what the hell am I doing, right? What just changed between me being confident that that level should push the stock higher to now exiting the position because I'm scared that I'm down, right? That needs to end. If my thesis is 336 break and retest, that's the level that has to hold. I am not exiting that position until that level breaks. If I do exit that position before that level breaks, I am exiting the position based off of the analysis that I just created that told me that it should go higher, right? How does that make any sense? That is not trusting your system. That is basically saying, oh, now for some reason I don't trust that it's going to hold, but before I did, right? Now you're just lost, right? So if you are entering a trade based off a key level that you know is a major key level, not just some dinky 1-minute chart level that you just created, a major 4-hour hourly chart spot that is creating a clear and concise reaction and a flip off that key spot. My position is I am holding that until I am up into my scale outs or I am taking it off at my exit point. Now, here is something I need you to also think about. The longer you wait, okay, and this is the biggest problem that a lot of you have, and me, even me, right? This is the hardest part about this whole system. The longer you wait, and the more confirmation and more comfy cozy you get, the worse risk reward you are going to have. So, where did I enter Tesla? I entered Tesla right around this 338 area, give or take right around here, right? I saw enough on this candle to say, okay, I've seen enough and my risk reward is still small, or still good. My risk is still small, right? I have small risk down to 336 and I just saw enough price action to give me some confidence. Now, someone may say, hey, Desi, that wasn't enough for me. I need to see a little bit more. Okay, all right. Maybe you need to see this candle. Okay, all right. I want to wait to see this candle here. Okay, that's fine, right? You are still long off 336. You got a nice reaction off of it, and we definitely have seen some very good price action pushing off that level. Now, here's the problem with that. Now, it's not a major problem, but it's something you need to understand. If you enter at the top side of this candle, your stop loss is the same as mine. I don't care if you enter here or here or here. If you enter here or here or here, your stop loss is always here. Why? Because that is the reason. That is the reason behind the stock going higher. The reason this is going up is because this level turned into a support level and the sellers were taken out. So if you are chasing this long here, right? Let's say you chase this long here and then the stock goes like this, okay? And you stop out here down 10%. You are trading in nothing. I mean, you are basically just getting tossed around in no man's land. The reason the stock is going higher is because this level held. So how could you set up a trade that is not based off of the reason it's going higher, right? So the reason I get these aggressive entries and I take trades based off of these levels is because if I take them close to that key level, it is either going to work for me beautifully with extreme risk reward, or it is going to go against me quickly, and I need to have the discipline to accept that. But at least if I am right, it's going to be very right, and it will offset the loss. Now, if I am waiting to chase this trade up here, I have to give it this space. This is a 30-40% loss right here, right? That's too much. I can't give this stock $8 a share of drawdown, right? I have to be confident enough to take it on that reaction above that key level, right? That is where I am looking for that price action to show me that there is a reason to enter at that spot, right? And if you guys are asking about, hey, what do you see? What do you see? You got to come to the live trading, man. That's all I can teach you is in the live trading. So all those questions out there, oh, Des, what exactly are you looking for at that key level? Why don't you come tomorrow and watch me do it live? How about that, right? Why don't you come tomorrow and watch me trade it live tomorrow? Hopefully I find myself a trade tomorrow. I can't tell you for sure I'm going to find something, but I hope I do, right? Accepting uncertainty. You guys know this. Trading in the zone. I don't need to talk about it. Oh, this is a great example, man. This is such an awesome example. I might actually just leave the conversation off at this example, and we might go through the rest of this presentation tomorrow. Let me see. Hold on. How much more I got here? I got a lot for you guys. Or I save the rest for maybe another time. Maybe I leave you on a cliffhanger here. Or we go quick. Or I can send this out to you. 10-22 rule, you guys, and some of you may not know that one. Okay, I don't got too much more. This is such an awesome example right here. Where do you go to see me live? Didn't you sign up for the 3-day live event? It's going to be live on YouTube tomorrow. I absolutely adore this. This is the best. This is the best example of 3 different reactions at a key level. This is unbelievable right here. This is the NASDAQ futures on November 7th on the 1-minute chart. I would have made money, by the way. Haha. Guess what? The next time I do that, thing tanks, right? This is the 1-minute chart on November 7th. One-minute chart on November 7th. Where is that? And I'm not making this up. I am not making this up. And it's one of the craziest examples I have ever seen of why I trade the strategy I trade. This is, see this right here? See this and this and this? See these 3 little reactions here? Watch this. Reaction 1. Desi's telling me watch the daily 50. I'm going to look to see if that level breaks for a potential short, right? If we get below that level, if we turn the daily 50 into a rejection, that's going to be a potential look for me to short. Trader number 1, shorts here. Why? He can't control himself, okay? Trader number 1. The thesis here, okay? Thesis here is if we break the daily 50, which the day was very weak, by the way. See this? Market moving lower, right? Let me put some context into this. Ding, ding, ding. Market opens straight down. Your emotion is at an all-time high. Where's the short? Where's the short? Where's the short? Where's the short? Why am I not short? I need to get in a short, All right. So there's your context. First 8 minutes of the trading day, straight down. Okay. There's your context. Straight down, first 8 minutes. I need to short the market. Okay. But hey, I'm not going to short into the daily 50. I don't want to do that. But I have 3 different examples here for you. I have Trader 1, Trader 2, and Trader 3. And I also have just 3 different price action examples for you. So, price action example 1, trading straight down into the key daily 50. No break, no reason to short into it, right? That's it. So, that's it. Just a clear hold of the daily 50. Let's just say Trader 1 shorts here, has no self-control, doesn't care about the daily 50, just shorts it because you're going straight down, holds it, stopped out, squeezed out. Probably Trader 1 also goes ahead and longs here as well, and then gets stopped out here as well. So just a total tilt environment, right? Shorts here because they has to be short because the market's going down, right into the daily 50. It holds. There's never a reason to even look at it failing. It doesn't even fail ever. It just holds right there on a 1 minute chart. Takes a short, stops out, longs here, stops out, fully on tilt, day's done, right? Day's ruined. Trade example number 2 at the same level, drops under it. Okay? Trader number 1, again, what's he do? On tilt, chases the short because he broke under it. Oh, here we go, right? Here we go. Market broke the key level, right? Under the daily 50. We broke it. I'm short. Bam. Oh, man. I already know it. I felt that. I've felt it before. I already know this exact situation. All I could do is laugh about it, right? I'm short here. I stop out here. I'm long here. I stop out here. Market breaks my key level. I'm not waiting for no retest. I don't care about what that guy on YouTube has to say. I don't need a retest. I'm going to chase this breakdown. Here we go. I'm short on the breakdown of this low. And here I am short again. Bam, dead. Bam, dead. Right? That's it. Okay, I'm long here and I'm short and it's just trade example number 3. What happens? Break, retest, rejection. This candle broke. It tried to come back higher, or it did come back higher. It did not reject. This candle did not show any rejection. It went straight back up. You are being impatient. You need to see it reject. So what happened here? Look at this. Look at this. I can't make this up. Look at how perfect the 3 examples of chasing into demand, chasing on a breakdown, and then ding, 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 the break and retest. Unbelievable example. I will never come across a more perfect example of 3 different types of moves in a single day on a 1 minute chart, all within an hour of price action. It's actually quite incredible to me and sort of blows my mind, right? Which one actually created the downside move? Right here, the break and retest of this key level. Break, retest, rejection. It's unreal to look at. And look at what happened from that point the rest of the day. It's quite incredible. I can't make it up. Can't make it up. Can't make it up. And even if that failed, right? Even if that failed, you got a stop loss right above that. You had a good reason to enter, right? You had a breakdown. Buyers tried to bid it up. It failed again. You short here. Your stop loss is back above. And look at that risk reward. Ensuring proper R multiple. If your risk is $2, try to at least get 2 before the first scale. I always like to get 1-to-1 before at least the scale. If I'm not feeling the position, if I'm seeing some things starting to go against it, 1-to-1 scale outs I'm okay with. Of course, you're looking for that 2R always, right? That's just, you know that. Strategy doesn't work if you don't stop out. You can't come back to me and say, Desi, what you're teaching me doesn't work, and then I look at your trades and you're not stopping out of positions. The strategy does not work if you do not stop out at your key level, okay? Last thing we're going to talk about is the 10-22 rule. We're going to run through this pretty quick. The 10-22 rule is a sizing rule. If you have $10,000 in your account, I think you should put 10% of your account in every trade. If you have $1,000 in your account, I think you should put $1,000 in every trade. 10% of your account should go in every trade you take. Now, one caveat here, I would consider the number of contracts to be able to scale in and out with comfort. So if you can take $1,000 of a trade, I would recommend being able to take at least 2 contracts. I want you to be able to take at least 2 contracts. Why? Because I want you to be able to scale out. There is a very important thing about scaling out, and it is a matter of decreasing emotion and fear in your trade. When I get that first scale out, I am so cautious. I'm so much more comfortable, right? Did I say 1,000? 1,100, 10% of the account, okay? I'm so much more comfortable after that first scale out. So I am looking to scale out as I get my first win, right? And I get more comfortable with that position now that I have scaled some out. The 20%. The 20% is not a hard stop loss of 20%. The market does not care about your arbitrary numbers. I'm short 20% loss. If I'm wrong, 20% I get out. Wrong. That's not right. Okay? It's a matter of those levels that we just talked about. So it's not a hard stop, but you should roughly be losing that amount. If you look back at your positions, and let's say you entered on that Tesla, right? That Tesla trade at 336, right? If I was wrong there, I probably would have lost about 20%, right? Give or take. So if we go back to here, and I can actually just show you what I would lose. I actually have it. What am I doing? Let me show you. It's right here. So right here, here's the math behind it. Okay? I have math behind this. I'm not BSing you. That Tesla position I took had a 50.5 delta. Okay? It had a 0.5. If it's at the money, it would typically have a 0.5 delta. Tesla was at the money, slightly in the money, the positions I took. So you have yourself a 0.5 delta. 0.5 delta means that every dollar the stock moves, the option contract moves 50 cents. Okay? So if I'm in at 338 and my stop loss is 336, then I'm risking $2 on the underlying stock, right? That's $2 from 338 to 336. That is $1 on the option premium. 50 cents for every dollar is a 0.5 delta. So that's your delta on your option premium. That's this little right here, right? With a 0.5 delta, if the stock goes against me $2, I will lose $1 on the option premium. If my contract is $5, that is 20%. Okay? That is how you can calculate that move. So if my option premium is $5 and there's a 0.5 delta, every dollar that it goes against me, I would lose 10%. If I go down $2, I'm down 20%. That means that if I'm losing 20% and my risk is right here at $2, that's about where I want it to be, all right? That means if I'm losing 30, 40%, that's a matter of my entry point being too far away from my key level. So we are backing into our percentage points, right? We are backing into our percent stop loss. It's not, if I hit 20%, I have to exit this. Why? Because if you entered here and you're down 20% here, guess what? The stock's probably going to do this. And then you're going to take a 20% stop loss here because you're just taking stop losses for no reason, really. You're just stopping out because you're red. Now, the unfortunate fact is down here, you're probably going to be down about 40% because you took such an overextended entry point. But what you're going to do is probably panic out of the position because your entry point's so far from your stop that you're going to stop out 20% or stop out 40%. And then later in the day, you're going to see it hold the exact level that you wanted it to hold, and it's going to rocket to the upside. And you're going to look at yourself in disgust. Right? So how do we stop that? We stop that by trying to enter as close to our invalidation level as possible, so that when we are wrong, we are taking a manageable stop loss, right? And that should be roughly that 20%. That's ideal number. It's hard to get exactly to it, but that's ideally what we should be losing if our entries are very, very good, okay? It's not perfect science, but it's very much something that is achievable. If we're taking a 10% of our account in a position and we're losing 20% roughly on that trade, we are losing 2% of our account. That you can stay in the game long term by doing that. You can continue to take, if you're wrong a few times, man, and you take 2% losses in your account, you're fine. Stop panicking, okay? That's very much okay. 2% of your account, if that's your losing trade on the day, it's just a loss. It's 2%, right? That's you're gonna have to accept that. All right, so that's your presentation. Now, what I want to do is I want to look at some stocks with you. And you know, yeah, I mean, we definitely, oh, I was going to short this on Friday. Yeah, I was going to. So let's look at a few mains, okay? Let's look at a few mains because we're running well over time here. Let's look at a few mains, and then let's do obviously a lot of our analysis tomorrow morning. You guys know tomorrow morning pre-market prep, we're going to be prepping all of the all morning from starting at 8 o'clock. So 8 a.m. to the bell. We got an hour and a half of prep tomorrow morning. But let's do some major prep here, or major names. Tesla. Last week, right? Tesla moved back into our major demand level. Weekly chart. Take a look at this weekly chart. Major previous highs, right? This is all analysis that you're going to see a lot of similarities to what we just learned today. Look at the weekly chart. Look where my analysis is already starting. Major highs, major lows, major highs again, right? So I've been looking for Tesla to come back to that level, right? That major demand. Now let me go ahead and go down to the daily chart. Let's take a look at this daily. So we got that major demand below, but what else do I have? I have these major daily lows right here, right? I got some major daily lows at 411.45. What else do I have? I also have this 2021 high that we've been talking about for quite some time. That's back here, right? Take a look at this 2021 high. All the way back here on the daily chart, you got a 2021 high at 414.50. All the way back here. See that? So between 414.50 and these daily lows right around here, I was looking for, I actually posted this to the group on Friday. I said, I am dying to log into my broker within the last 30 seconds and short Tesla. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, look. I didn't do it, of course, because that would be degenerate, but I said, this Tesla 414.50 rejection has me itching to open up my broker in the last 30 seconds and slamming weekend puts, but I will be smart. Boring. Why did I even say that, though, right? Why is that my mindset, right? Why is that my mindset? Why is that going through my mind? Well, take a look. Daily lows, daily lows, daily lows, right? Look what's happening. Look what's happening. Bam. Lows, 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 lows. Break, retest. Is that a rejection? Right? That looks pretty much like a rejection to me for now, right? We'll see, though. But tomorrow, that's definitely something I'm watching, right? That's how I come into tomorrow on Tesla. Do we reject that level? That's going to be something I'm watching. You guys are screaming and hollering MU. Yeah, this thing has been nuts. So let's talk a little bit about MU. I think we're going to leave some of these charts for tomorrow, guys. I think that's what my game plan is. I think tonight, good night of education. I'm getting a little bit tired, I'm not going to lie. And I think a lot of you guys are getting probably pretty tired too. So, you know what we do? I'm going to make an executive decision here. Let's save the charts for tomorrow. We did a lot of preparation in terms of our mindset and what we're going to be looking for. Tomorrow, we'll add on our conversation about all of tonight with the key levels and the intraday game plans, okay? And let's, we don't want to do too much, right? We don't want to do too much. We don't want to go too crazy. I really think that's true. If we do this when we're tired today, we're not gonna, you know, get it as good. So let's leave it there. 3 hours nonstop tonight. Not something that I'm probably going to do again on YouTube for free. I'll tell you that. You know, these are the kind of conversations that go on a daily basis, or not daily. We do calls Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. That's the mentorship group. Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, we have these sort of Zoom calls. They're not 3 hours. They're hours each. So 3 hours a week. You know, that's sort of what I like to do. These are the types of conversations I like to add, try to add value to the people that really show and commit to learning from me. So I hope that you enjoyed it. I got nothing to sell you tonight. I got nothing to sell you tonight, okay? Nothing. All I ask is that you show up tomorrow. You show up on Tuesday. You show up the next 2 days. You hang around the YouTube channel. You know, I got the link for the group down below. I got the link for the mentorship. We're going to be having some sick giveaways this week. We're going to be having a Black Friday deal. So be on the lookout for that. Black Friday deal's not, you don't get that Black Friday deal for one day, man. You got to show up tomorrow, you got to show up Tuesday. So today was the day of education. Tomorrow is how we live trade. We will do all of this live tomorrow. Am I missing anything before I go? Am I missing anything before I go? Go buy some merch. That is one thing I have to sell you. At least go buy some merch today. Get yourself a beautiful quarter zip insiders trading community. Represent the community. Be a part of the group. I don't got anything else to show you guys, man. That's about it. I had a great time. I really did. I feel in the zone today. I felt good. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully this has creates a spark for some of you. Hopefully this excites some of you, gets you excited about trading again. We will save time tomorrow and Tuesday for some real Q&A, okay? So I apologize about that, but we'll get some real Q&A tomorrow and Tuesday for you guys to ask questions. I appreciate the support in the chat. I was in the zone. Appreciate that. Vinny, Denver won. Okay, great. The Giants lost. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Peace and recording. The recording will be sent to you via email if you gave us your email. If you did not give us your email, I recommend going to this website. Let me show you. I recommend going to this website right here and giving us your email. We will send that out. You can, it will, if you have the link, I'm pretty sure if you're here now, you can access that link again to watch the recording. So just, yeah, guys, I mean, just go back to the YouTube link that you're here, right? I think that's pretty easy, right? I'm pretty it's on YouTube, guys, right? It's like all you got to do is go back to the YouTube link. It's like going to youtube.com, watching a video, and then commenting on the video saying, can you record this? Even though you're on the YouTube video, right? You're on the YouTube video. So all you got to do is click back to the YouTube link. I mean, I think. I'm not sure. I mean, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure all you got to do is click the link again once we're done live streaming, and it'll be there. So all these questions, link to merch tomorrow. Tomorrow. Come tomorrow. Come tomorrow. Come tomorrow. There's no reason that you can't come tomorrow. Come tomorrow. At least come back for a little bit. That's it. What do I have in my description below? I don't have the link. You're right. To the merch. Go to my, if you got any questions on links, go to my channel. Okay? Go to my channel and go to the live stream from last week. Right? You'll see it all. It's all the description. All the links are in my descriptions. I changed the links a little bit today. Go to the link. You know what? I'm just going to grab it for you. How about that? I'll do it. Let me grab it for you. Let me be a nice guy. Hold on. Hold on. What do we got? Go watch my last video. How about that? So we got some links for you. We got TradeZella discounts. Code Desi. Okay, TradeZella discounts, code Desi. And I got merch store for you right there, right in the chat. I'm gonna put them together. Here's all the links right here. All the links right there. How's that gonna look in the chat? Can I send that? I can't send that. It's too long. Okay. I can send that. Nope, can't send that. Okay. Let me delete that. That I can send. There we go. All right, pin it to the top. We got Discord link, mentorship link, merch store link, all at the top. If you want it, we'll check one of those out at the top. Check it out. Thank you guys again. Appreciate you for being here. I hope you have a fantastic night. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning. 8 a.m. YouTube. Be there. And that's it. Goodbye now.